very careless Hibs in midfield. They could be punished for it. Looks as if they might be. And that's in, yes! The third goal. He hasn't been in the game all that much, but he doesn't need to be when he can accelerate like that, get away from defenders. And that all stems from really shocking slack play by Hibs in midfield. Colgan did get his hand to it, but in respect of these breaks, it hasn't been Hibs' day. 51 goals now for this man, and counting. Egat. He'll get the corner kick for that Celtic. Despairing tackle. Attempting one, that's in again. Alan Stubbs marks a remarkable comeback to football with a goal which delights that support. And I'm sure anybody appreciating the personal endeavour of a man rising above adversity would congratulate him as well. Any supporter of any team, determination in his personal life and bringing with it a little touch into this stadium with that positive header. 4-0. And we're halfway through this second half, and a very composed figure of the Celtic manager right in the middle of the picture, who must have taken a great deal of delight out of that goal as well. Lovell. Free kick. Egat, I think, is going to be red carded. Already booked, and a man who's been derided the entire game by the Hibs support for a late tackle like that after having already been booked, inevitably gets the red card. Moravcik shouting for it and gets away. Oh, great play by Moravcik, yes! Great goal by Moravcik. Now that was all about professional control and discipline. He might have been dispossessed once or twice in that run, but look how he finished that. Neil gets away. Zatelli. Well, Latifi. And that's a goal, yes. Libra eases the agony just a little. Well, it's better than nothing, let's put it that way. They've had the chances in the game, Hibs, you know. And this is one they did take. Libra getting away from his marker. And that makes it 5-1. And if Hibs have to derive any hope for a cup final, it is in the sense that they have made chances. I would say about 6 or 7, which might have been scoreable. Good play. Can it be kept in? I think it just can. That's a good header. That's a second one. Well, Libra has done very well to get in behind this Celtic defence several times in the game. A little bit unfortunate in the first half, but now in the space of 3 minutes, he's notched 2. Taking, as I say, putting a better complexion on the score. if 5-2 can be a bit of complexion. Well, Big Alec has done a marvellous job at Easter Road, and he must take some consolation out of the 2 late goals and the fact that he did make some chances for themselves. He's got to be positive. Oh, I'll tell you what, Libra's gone fantastically creative in this last 10 minutes or so. Really showing what he's capable of. Thoughtful, pensive Martin O'Neill. Final whistle has gone. A remarkable game, and congratulations to both sets of players who did emphatically put the prospect of a cup final behind them and gave their all. Great start for Jackie McNamara. These 2 goals he notched. Delighted to have...
What do you read into that game itself?
For me, absolutely nothing. It was an end-of-season game. I was delighted that we played so well, scored a lot of goals, and to be perfectly honest, Hibs could have scored a few goals themselves, which they did do towards the end. Dimitri Karin made a couple of really good saves for us, but in truth, I wouldn't read too much into it. You know, I'm delighted for us. It won't do us any harm, let me put it that way. But I would come cup final. I'm hoping that the game will be as open as it was today, but come cup final day, there'll be a lot more nerves around, a bit more tension.
I know that the bookies can sometimes be upset.
And that must be, for you personally, in your own personal life, one of the most significant goals you've scored. I mean, coming back the way you have and then scoring a goal.
Yeah, it is. You know, I don't score too many, you know. Usually people say, oh, well, I'll go back and do the same thing, but I don't intend on doing that. You know, it was great to just, you know, I didn't expect to score. You go up there and, you know, if you scored, it's a bonus, you know, but it just seems a bit weird that sometimes whenever there's a player coming back from certain circumstances, they always seem to get at the headlines or get at, you know, a goal, and, you know, fortunately for me, it's happened to me.
Well, Alan, on behalf of everybody, welcome back and good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, and so say all of us.
The second chance he's had in the game. And a wonderful reception there for Alan Stubbs from both sets of supporters. Everybody at Easter Road rose and acclaimed this man, achieving fitness after a tremendous battle with his health, and now back in football again. Murray back. And that was a yellow card for Agat. There's a ball played across to Petalainen, a great save. Latapi. Well, that's a good save. And it's still not there. They can't put it in. Hibs desperately. Unfortunate. Here's O'Neill. Oh, the very careless Hibs in midfield. They could be punished for it. Looks as if they might be. And that's in, yes. The 3rd goal. He hasn't been in the game all that much, but he doesn't need to be when he can accelerate like that, get away from defenders. 51 goals now for this man. Attempting one, that's in again. Alan Stubbs marks a remarkable comeback to football with a goal which delights that support. Free kick, Agat, I think, is going to be red-carded. Already booked. Moravcik shouting for it. And gets away. Oh, great play by Moravcik, yes! Great goal by Moravcik.
Bobby Murdoch, who died this morning after suffering a stroke. The 56-year-old former Celtic star was a key figure in Jock Stein's famous European Cup winning side of 1967. Fans, former teammates, old firm rivals and politicians have mourned the loss of one of Scotland's finest footballers.
1967, when he returned to Glasgow with his Lisbon Lion teammates, he was a sporting hero, the first British side to lift the European Cup. Playing alongside Jimmy Johnstone at Hampden in the semi-final of the European Cup against Leeds, this goal made Murdoch a legend. Outside Celtic Park today, it wasn't just Celtic fans who paid their respects. Old firm rivals sharing the loss of great talent. A generation in mourning.
He was a tremendous player. He hit the ball, right? He could hit a ball through 30, 40 yards, just like into a bucket, right? Perfectly.
He would go anywhere for the supporters, and he was a supporters guy.
Murdoch's former teammates stunned at their loss.
There is a really great team spirit between us all, and that's why, you know, Bobby's loss today, I feel I've lost a brother.
A powerful midfield dynamo, Murdoch won 8 league championship medals and was capped 12 times for Scotland. Recently he campaigned to preserve the traditional hoops in the Celtic jersey.
I was just proud that I played for the hoops. I played in the hoops, you know, and it was a great feeling to put the hoops over your head.
There'll be a minute's silence tonight at Celtic Park at Tom Boyd's testimonial match against Manchester United. Arriving at Glasgow Airport, Sir Alex Ferguson recalled his playing days with Bobby Murdoch.
I played against Bobby in one of his early games when he was a young man. He played outside right against me in a reserve game way back. We're not great difference in ages really, and it's very sad because, you know, he was a good character and he was a fantastic footballer.
My abiding memory of him is ploughing through mud and wet days at a fair rate of knots. It was like a battle cruiser.
Was he a great player?
Oh, I think so. He was playing in a great side. We use phrases very tightly, like a part of history is gone, but this is a part of history that's gone.
Shocked by the death of Celtic legend Bobby Murdoch at the age of 56. Davy Provan reports.
Just 5 weeks after she mourned the death of Jim Baxter, Scotland has lost another of her favourite sons. Bobby Murdoch, already immortalised as one of Celtic's Lisbon Lions, died of a stroke at just 56 years of age, much to the shock of those who knew him best.
We were very lucky. Each player has 2 families, their own personal family and the Lisbon Lions family, and it's a big loss for the rest of the team.
Oh, it's been a real big shock. I've spoken to most of the rest of the squad and they feel like I do. It's been a terrible loss. We used to laugh and joke about who was going to be the first to go, never thinking that it would come as soon as this or as early as this. Indeed, not that it would happen to Bobby, because Bobby was one of the younger members of the squad.
Bobby Murdoch was part of a Celtic side that became the first British influence is still remembered.
I was a young man at Middlesbrough as a player, and he came and he was very much the governor. You know, he was the old head. He had won everything in Scotland. He had won he was a European Cup winner. He was the main man in the team at the time. We all learned something from him.
Yet he'll forever be known as Bobby Murdoch of Celtic. And as a young man growing up in Glasgow, he wanted nothing more than to wear the famous green and white hoops.
The first thing I did when I went into the dressing room was always take my tie, my shirt, my jacket off and stick the hoops over my head, you know, and go to the mirror and felt really proud to be wearing them.
Between Celtic and Manchester United in memory of Bobby Murdoch, who died earlier this morning. Well, all day fans have been paying their respects to the 56-year-old Celtic legend, one of the famous Lisbon Lions. Jock Stein once said of him, he was the best player a manager could ever have. Well, I'm joined now by the Celtic captain from the famous Lisbon Lion days, Billy McNeill. You obviously knew Bobby very, very well. Billy, a desperately sad day for football.
Well, it has been. It's been a particularly sad day for myself and the rest of the Lions, because obviously Bobby was very, very popular, not just because of his ability, just because of the type of person that he was. And it's sad to see him passing on.
What kind of footballer was he?
Ah, he was great, brilliant.
superb player. He could pass it, he could hold it, he could probe, he could strike the ball. It didn't matter which side the ball came to Bobby on. He was very, very good on both sides. Both his left foot and his right foot were dynamite. And he had everything going for him. He was really enthusiastic with his football, put his heart and soul into it and loved it.
Do you feel he was a bit of an unsung hero in that Lisbon Lions side amongst all the stars and perhaps the better known names?
Yeah, it may well have been that. It may well have seemed that way to the fans, but it wasn't that way to us. We knew Bobby's value, and we knew that when he was on song, then everything would go right because he really was a player. And you know, I've heard that said often, but he was a really special player. Believe you me, it's astonishing. I listened to one of the presenters tell me he only had 12 caps, and it's absolutely astonishing. Why I see players today with 50 and 60 caps who probably couldn't lace his boots.
How do you think Celtic fans will briefly remember him tonight?
Well, I think they'll remember him, obviously as a player, but more especially Bobby was very, very popular with fans because he went to their functions readily and so often. Even right up to a couple of weeks before he died there, he was going to supporters' functions and he was very, very popular. He made them feel as important as they made him.
Billy, thank you. A very, very sad day indeed. But to tonight's match then, and Manchester United arrived in Glasgow this morning. A great pedigree, of course, at home and abroad, but they're well aware that Celtic have been a thorn in their side for many years.
It was predictable that Manchester United would attract huge attention on their arrival at Glasgow Airport this morning. Amongst them, the former Rangers keeper who's set to be back facing some old rivals at Celtic Park tonight.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Pleased to be playing in Tommy's game. I think anyone knows that he's fully deserved, you know. He's been a great servant.
And the multi-millionaires of British sport admit they could have some problems against Celtic's not-so-secret weapon.
Well, I think it'll be a competitive game. I think that both teams have got great pride and tradition, so it's obviously going to be a competitive game, and I look forward to that.
What about Henrik Larsson? He's obviously been doing exceptionally well. Are you guys prepared for him?
Oh, you never know. 51 goals, a lot of goals. He's been a fantastic player. But we'll do our best.
Of course, United brought their own golden boy, David Beckham, who's out to avenge some previous results between the two sides.
You've never actually won a testimonial game against Celtic. Is this something you would all like to put right?
Yeah, we are aware of that, but you know, testimonials are testimonials. But we want to perform, we want to play well, and we want to win.
Are the players aware that a great Celtic legend, Bobby Murdoch, died this morning?
We wasn't, but obviously now we are. But you know, it makes it extra special now tonight because the atmosphere will be great.
The untimely death of Bobby Murdoch is sure to have a profound effect at Celtic Park tonight. Mourning his death is the man that Manchester United and a capacity crowd will honour. 35-year-old club captain Tom Boyd is in his 10th season with the club, and his time has been filled with the highs of success but also some lows, with 2 career-threatening back operations. His reputation is of a man of loyalty and courage, and a leader to all who've known and played alongside him during a memorable Celtic career.
And one other piece of football news this evening, Claudio Caniggia won't officially...
Please pardon the grammar, but you're every schoolboy's dream. You're Celtic United, but baby, I've decided you're the best team I've ever seen. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. You be my breath, should I grow? You are my love.
Welcome to Celtic Park in Glasgow for a battle of the champions as Scotland's finest take on England's #1 team for Tommy Boyd's testimonial. The best of British kicks off in just under 10 minutes' time. Hello there. There's an added poignancy about tonight's game because earlier today Bobby Murdoch, one of the legendary Lisbon Lions, died. So in a sense, a packed Celtic Park is here to pay tribute to 2 of its favourite sons tonight. Joining me here in the studio, Frank Stapleton and Pat Nevin, and I'll be speaking to them in just a moment. But first, Billy McNeill, another Lisbon Lion, is on our commentary team tonight. Billy, Bobby was a close friend, wasn't he?
It was indeed. He and I went to the same school, albeit Bobby's much younger than me. He was in first year when I was in 5th year, and I remember from the school days, always a magnificent player and really a wonderful player to be in your side.
And Billy, what's it going to mean to the Celtic fans tonight?
Well, he was a big favourite, Bobby, both as a player and latterly after he stopped playing. He still really, until a couple of weeks ago, was attending supporters functions. And he really made the supporters as special as they made him feel. So he was a big favourite, and I think he will get a lovely tribute tonight.
Thanks, Billy. We'll be speaking to Billy, obviously, a little later on. You're seeing pictures.
It is. I caught the last few years of Bobby's time at Celtic when he was playing. He was a classy player and he was a classy guy.
Well, I think it's always a big night here when you got testimonials and when you got the likes of Manchester United coming here, and it's going to be a competitive match. I think that's important, and I think they'll honour Bobby's name in that respect.
Great, well, we're all looking forward to it. Obviously, we're going to leave you for just a moment now, but when we come back, we'll be hearing from the Celtic manager, Martin O'Neill. Or check out the website address at www.channel5.co.uk/football competition. Well, since he left whichever club it was, Martin O'Neill has worked wonders here at Celtic Park. Steve Lee has been talking to him about his dream year, but started by asking him about Bobby Murdoch's death earlier today.
Well, Martin, a bittersweet sort of day for Celtic. Celebration of a great 10 years for Tom Boyd, but sadness at the death of Bobby Murdoch today.
Real sadness. I know that he'd had a stroke yesterday, obviously severe enough, and he's died this morning. It's terribly sad altogether.
It's going to be a great night there for Tom Boyd, isn't it? One mustn't forget that, and the great servant he's been for Celtic here.
Fantastic servant. I believe that testimonials nowadays will be a thing of the past. They'll disappear completely, with players only having 2 or 3 years service at football clubs, and for him to have had 10 years at such a great club is fantastic for him. I'm delighted that Manchester United have chosen to come up here, and it's a great boost for him, and I think he's sold out.
Can you quite believe the kind of season you had here in your first season?
It's been amazing, Steve, absolutely amazing. If you had interviewed me here at the start, way back in last June, you know, I would have taken everything that's been going, but it's been absolutely marvellous for Tommy Boyd as well.
Thanks very much for joining us. Pleasure.
I think he's organised them. He's been brilliantly organised this season. Very strong. Something special up front. Obviously Larson has been spectacularly good. But all the way through the team, Lennon's made a huge difference in midfield as well. He's got a group together that can work together and that want to work together.
OK, we can see the teams coming out now, holding their booty for the season. Celtic, of course, have got one more trophy still to compete for. Let's hand over to our commentary team tonight. Billy McNeil, but first, Gary Bloom.
Thanks, Steve. Good evening, everyone. So a night that was meant to bring so much joy to Celtic fans also brings such sorrow with the untimely death of Bobby Murdoch. The champions of Scotland against the champions of England, and while the best part of 60,000 fans are here to say thanks to Celtic's most loyal servant in the past decade, many at this moment will be thinking back 3.5 decades to Celtic's most glorious night in Lisbon, when 11 players in hoop jerseys played themselves into the ranks of footballing legends.
Make some noise, please, for Tommy Boyd.
The first from that team might have passed away in the early hours of this morning, but they'll still be talking about Bobby Murdoch and the rest of the Lisbon Lions for many years to come. The captain of the Lisbon Lions sits alongside me. That's a lovely sight, isn't it? Tom Boyd with Tom Jr.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's lovely. You see that more and more these days, that players are bringing their families onto the ground with them, and that's the way it should be, because we've got to introduce youngsters to the game, and what nicer way.
Tom Boyd, 10 years at Celtic. And the crowd were making their way towards the ground for the past hour to pay tribute to this most loyal servant. 35 years old, a Celtic fan since a young boy. He's played under 9 managers since his Celtic debut in February 1992. He was signed by Liam Brady from Chelsea in a swap deal involving Tony Cascarino. I think you feel that Celtic got the better end of the deal.
Well, he's certainly been a very, very good player, and the thing about him is he's unshowy, as it were. He gets about his job, very quick, very positive, and really very, very consistent, which is always good in a defender.
Incidentally, tonight's referee Hugh Dallas actually booked Tom Boyd on his very first visit to Celtic Park, and he got the wrong player. Anyway, as we approach kick-off time, there'll be a minute's silence in memory of Bobby Murdoch, European Cup winner, Scottish international, Scottish Player of the Year for 1969. Our condolences go out to Bobby Murdoch's family, his wife Kathleen, his sons Bobby and Barry, and daughter Kathleen.
Of Celtic legend Bobby Murdoch, who passed away at 5 o'clock this morning.
God bless Bobby Murdoch. Let's concentrate on tonight's game, and Celtic will view this match as a bit of a dress rehearsal for the Scottish Cup final against Hibs in 11 days' time.
The priest conducting the service spoke this morning of the former Celtic star's God-given talent with which he brought pleasure to millions. His death earlier this week at the age of 56 is the first loss to the legendary European Cup winning side of 1967.
In the last days of a season when the present Celtic side has probably brought more joy to supporters than at any time since 1967, it was a sad occasion at the Rutherglen Church which Bobby Murdoch faithfully attended. Of his teammates, last to file into the funeral mass was the first British player to lay hands on the European Cup, the then Celtic captain Billy McNeill. To a packed congregation, the priest said, more important than being a great footballer, Bobby Murdoch was a good man whose name was never taken in vain by anyone.
That the people of this locality didn't only esteem and love and respect Bobby as a footballer, they respected and loved and esteemed him as a man and as a person.
Rangers stars of the era honoured the man Jock Stein dubbed the best player he'd ever managed. A treasured photograph spanning 3 generations told of Bobby Murdoch's life as a family man, but he was a Lisbon Lion too. They all knew it was the first break in that team spirit first born more than 30 years ago.
He was a real brother to me. I enjoyed working with the man. I thought he was a wonderful person. Not only was he a good footballer, but more important, he was a good person.
Just a great friend, just a tremendous friend, and just a big loss.
He was the type of person that you lifted the phone and saying, Bobby, I wonder if, he'd say, when will you pick me up? Anytime. He was a superstar.
And the people of Rutherglen, for whom Bobby Murdoch was, said the priest, a great role model, paid the last tribute.
What's at stake for Celtic today, if anything?
Well, we've got 100 points to go for, and obviously I think that Hearts trying.
A moving tribute to a Lisbon Lion, to a legend.
Publicising a new type of boot at Celtic Park today, but the main talking point, would a slight hamstring strain keep him out of Saturday's cup final?
I trained today, so there's no problem, so I felt okay when I trained, so it should be all right.
Meanwhile, Larsson revealed that Chris Sutton has recovered from injury and could well join him up front against Hibs.
British Cup final. He's been talking to David Tanner about his first year in Scotland.
The strength of Chris Sutton has had a major influence on the way power has shifted in Scotland. The champion's record signing has been immense in a season curtailed by injury. In all, Sutton's missed 19 games through injury and suspension, but he's determined to be fit enough for Hampden.
Well, I've been training the last few days and it feels okay, so I'm hopeful, you know, this week, if all goes well, I'll be fit and ready to go for the final.
Is it a concern to you that you didn't get a few minutes under your belt at Rugby Park at the weekend?
Not really. That would have been nice to play, but the main thing was not going backwards now, and it's a one-off game. And although it's nice to play games and be, you know, really fit and ready for the final, I think, you know, if you can't get through a game on adrenaline, you know, especially a game as big as this, then there's something wrong with you.
Now, right after the Tennant Scottish Cup semi-final, you said to me that you felt the final against the Burning would be a tight game. Has anything happened to make you change your mind?
Not really, although Celtic had a good result at Easter Road, you know, maybe that is a good thing, maybe, you know, that wasn't such a good thing. I think that'll be still be a tight game. I mean, the pitch hasn't been easy to play on in the games we've had this season, and you know, I think that'll be, you know, maybe the odd goal which will win it.
Yeah, we hear a whisper that the Hampden Park pitch is being worked on. Do you feel that's a good thing, or is it perhaps too little too late?
I'm not sure. I mean, the pitch hasn't been in a good condition, as I said before, when we've played on it. So hopefully, you know, Saturday that'll be in a better state. It'll make for a better game if it is in a better state.
I saw a stat a couple of weeks ago which put you at the top of the SPL sinners chart. Did you have a laugh at that, or is that a case of lies, damn lies, and statistics?
I didn't know that. As you know, I think the type of game of play, you know, has been a physical one. And I think there's been a lot of things given against me which have been, you know, close to call, and maybe things the other way, so, you know, I probably can't complain.
It must get tougher for your type of player every year, because refereeing becomes stricter every year, and is that something which is on your mind at the start of every season, or does another rule come in? No,
not really. I think refereeing isn't easy, but you know, I've always thought, you know, that the referees should, you know, look at the decisions they make after games on videos and what have you, and you know, if they've made a mistake, hold their hands up. And you know, more often than not, certainly north of the border, the referees don't seem to want to admit that they've made an error, and the FA, you know, are the same. They don't want to admit they've made an error, which I think is wrong.
It's been 6 years since Celtic won the Scottish Cup. It's been almost 5 times as long since this club won the treble. Do the players feel as though they're about to be part of history?
No, we all know it's there. That'd be nice, but I don't think anybody's... We just want to go out and win the final, and obviously we know the treble is there, but you know, it's a tough game against Hibs. So you know, we've got to actually go out and play. It's all right, people, you know, saying that, you know, the treble is on, but it's you know, the 11 players who start on Saturday, will have to go out and do.
Point to prove they haven't won the Scottish Cup for nearly a century.
He said, "Are you any good?" And I said, "No, absolutely hopeless." I said, "Oh, they all say that." And then after 2 holes, he came up and said, "You're right, you are hopeless." So if ever I was thinking about taking up golf, that would put the notion out of my head anyway, completely.
And I know you're around the same age as me, Martin. We've talked before about your music taste, which our music tastes don't parallel, despite Jethro Tull, I think, was...
Jethro Tull, yes, I'd be happy to say that Jethro Tull, you and I would mutually agree that Jethro Tull has been an excellent band. Ian Anderson.
Oh, I would say they were around at the same time. I don't know if it was my number. Ian Anderson, of course. Have you ever met Ian Anderson?
I've never met Ian Anderson, no, but still doesn't stop him from remaining a big hero. In fact, if I had any sort of ambition at all, I'd love to have played guitar for some rock band, just
really
clowning around for a few years. That would be a...
Can you play? Can you play? Can you play the guitar?
Rubbish.
Well, you golf?
Rubbish.
I've got to ask you about the future, and I hate to bring this up again, but the team known as Manchester United, it eternally raises...
Yeah, I don't see the point in this, really, because... first of all, I'm perfectly happy for a start. And I don't know how many times you can say it, but I am perfectly happy with proceedings. Secondly, and more importantly than whether I'm happy or not happy, it is pure speculation. And in fact, I probably brought the speculation up myself. That's a joke, by the way. But you can speculate forever and a day. This job is the job that excites me, and I'm delighted the way it has started. There's a lot of work still to be done, obviously.
But you do become a victim of your own success, don't you? The more success you bring, the more people expect you to bring.
Yes, the expectation is definitely high, there's no doubt about it. And if you have a wee bit of success, which you've had this season, then the expectation for next year, regardless of what way you want to play it or want to play it down, it'll be on top of you. But I won't be too concerned about it. I'm saying that now. I bet you by halfway through November that the weight will just have killed me. But overall, I'm not too concerned about it because it's a driving force, and you've got to try and use it to your advantage. If you started to really think about it, and I mean this, if you really thought about all the things that could weigh you down, you wouldn't get up in the morning. And so far, I've managed to achieve that, sometimes quite late, really.
And stupidly, he asked Chick to impart some local knowledge.
Do you know much about Glasgow's West End, this beautiful part? I mean, because you know that...
You're going to educate me here, Chick,
well, the first thing I'm going to tell you, Neil, is that the weather is always like this in Glasgow.
So I've been told.
And now these things in the good old days, when you were a lad, these are chimney pots. These things are chimney pots.
I've heard you cleaned a few.
And I used to send kids like me up over there, and there used to be smoke coming out of this, and all this is cleared to reveal a beautiful city. See over there, for example, that's the university.
I believe so. That's as close as I'm ever going to get there, Chick.
And I'll show you actually, if we just go around here a wee bit and we pan around a little bit, and away to your right over there. Now you know what that stadium is over there? See a football stadium there, Neil?
Yes, I've heard that's one of the landmarks of Glasgow.
There's three high.
Big dark cloud over it at the minute, though, so it's funny.
This is the what?
Guest room.
You got a lot of guests in here, eh?
Aye, well, I think it's for the Seven Dwarfs, the way it was built. I think it's used to be an old attic and it's been converted. Just got some key and furniture in that, like, so, you know, on a nice day I can come up here and have a coffee.
You've really pushed the boy with the furniture in this room.
Nah, you see, I'm not long in.
Now let me put you in touch with a furniture store here.
In the middle of our street, our house. In the middle of our...
A couple of collections from the Premiership. This is the only one that will fit, Chick.
This is when Neil used to represent the Isle of Man. And that's your lovely little daughter.
That's Alicia. Yeah, that was taken in Dublin. He went a bit heavy on the wrinkles around the eyes and that. I look about 73 on that one, so there. Wouldn't let Chick go in here because he might drown in there.
I could do it with 4 lets of
This is designed on Chick.
This is one of your man in the match awards.
I was Northern Ireland against Senegal.
In the middle of our street, our house. In the middle of our...
He's got a little secret room. It's supposed to be a study, but, you know, we wasted on me.
People out there, if you think the guys are not committed to the game, look at this. See, most people would have thought it was a bar in here.
It's not mine. I'm just keeping it for Chris Sutton.
This is actually the women's next door. So this is what
This is a brand new Siemens oven, which will be still brand new in 4 years' time, because it'll be completely wasted on me.
In the middle of our house was our castle and our king.
Maybe we can get you an autographed Henrik Larsson poster for your kitchen.
Definitely, aye, that'll be nice. He's going to cut my hair for me as well after the cup final, I promised. I'll let him do the clippers on me when I'm just getting rid of the blonde hair now.
You can get, are you getting rid of the blonde hair after the cup final?
Aye.
Why is that?
It kills me every time I have it done there. So
it's not natural then?
Our house in the middle of our street.
I presume you're going to spend the summer doing up your beautiful new home. I just wondered what you're going to do about the view that...
I'm going to plant a few trees.
Green trees, obviously.
No, I've got my binoculars here, so I'm going on a reconnaissance mission, like, you know, just to make sure there's nothing going on that I don't know about.
Actually, the terrible thing is now the training ground for Rangers is over that way.
Neil Lennon through the keyhole. There used to be goal.
League, as we managed to do this season, And because I mean, I remember the first year when I came, we won the league, and it was a fantastic feeling. And I hadn't had that feeling again until this season when we beat St Mirren here, and everything was was ready to celebrate. And it's a great feeling to have. In the beginning when I played, I used to play a little bit behind the striker, and then after a few games he moved me up front. So I think I turned into a striker more after that than maybe that I was before. After a few games up here, I said that this league is much better than a lot of people think, and it's a little bit boring, to be honest, to always. I always have to defend it wherever I go, and I just tell them, go and have a look, go and see what it is before you talk about it, because I'm well aware it's not the strongest league in Europe, but I mean, you have Italy, you have Spain, you have Germany, England, that are strong leagues. But the rest, I mean, there's only 2 or 3 teams that can win the championship. So that's just people have a meaning about it without being here and seeing it. I'm happy up here, my family's up here, so there's no point for me to look for something else or even talk about something else.
Are you close to settling on a new contract here?
Oh, I said all along, and Celtic said along, whatever we discussed and whatever we do is between Celtic and me.
Wonderful goal from the Frenchman. Away kits today, but it's still a green party really at Hampden. 2001 Scottish Cup final will be watched by millions of people around the world. Celtic fans, of course, pop up in all parts of the globe. Hibs cannot claim such amazing support, but inside the stadium they've got a 50-50 split. A decision that went down rather better in Edinburgh than it did in Glasgow. Hampden holds 52,000, and that's how many season ticket holders Celtic have got. So many of them haven't made it here. I know it's no consolation, but we'll try and make you feel like you're here. Those who have made it are waiting for a glimpse of their heroes, and when they emerge from the tunnel, you can be sure of a Hampden roar. Celtic are on the verge of something big, something huge, something massive. Only the 3rd treble in the club's history beckons. Martin O'Neill's men aiming to follow in the footsteps of the legendary Lisbon Lions of 1967. And Jock Stein's boys repeated the feat in '69. Hibs, remarkable season, petered out towards the end, but take nothing away from them. It's been a memorable campaign for a club who were in the 1st division 2 years ago. Some say they deserve a reward for their excellent efforts. They've certainly been wonderful to watch. Footballers are a confident breed by nature, but down there right now there will be nerves fraying, stomachs rumbling and spines tingling. That's only natural for most of these players. It's the biggest game of the career. And you've been down there, David.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Martin O'Neill and Alan McLeish exchange a warm handshake there. I'd imagine they'll be more nervous today than they were when they were actually playing, because at least when you walk out with a strip on your back, you know you can influence the final. But they just have to, they pick their best sides, prepare their sides as well as they possibly could. But once they cross the white line, you know, they're really at the mercy of fortune.
It's the ultimate dream for any professional footballer in Scotland. To walk out at Hampden Park on Cup Final day. And today, for the players of Celtic and Hibernian, dreams come true. Celtic's 49th appearance in the Scottish Cup final, and they've won it more times than any other club. 30 times in all. One more, and guess who? Rangers. Martin O'Neill hoping to lead Celtic to the treble in his first season in charge. But this man loves this competition. Alex McLeish, a Scottish Cup winner 5 times as a player with Aberdeen. Can he do it as a manager in what could well be his last game in charge of Hibs, who are making their 11th appearance in the final, but it's their first for 22 years since that very, very, very distant success in 1902. They have been to 7 finals, they have lost them all. The 2000-2001 season is almost over, but Celtic and Hibernian have some unfinished business, and it is big business. Well, if you're looking for a Hampden hero today, maybe you should look no further. Henrik Larsson hit a hat-trick here in the League Cup final. 7 goals en route to this final. 51 goals overall. The man is world-class. On this day, 8 years ago, Frank Sosie won the European Cup with Marseille. But rest assured, a Scottish Cup winner's medal would mean just as much to one of the game's gentlemen, still relishing every kick at the age of 35. Kenny Clark is a lawyer and a referee, so he might not have too many friends, but it is a deserved first cup final for him. He can be strict, having shown 9 red cards this season, and Celtic's Alan Thompson and John O'Neill of Hibs have been on the receiving end of 2 of them. Well, he really wouldn't bet against this man winning the cup for Celtic. You can watch him in close-up on the player cam for the first 15 minutes. That's on Sky Digital, channel 404. Some Celtic fans have got their hands on the cup already. Will the players get their hands on the oldest trophy in world football, which incidentally will be retired to the museum at Hampden today, and the winners will have to take a replica away with them, but they will be presented with the original. Celtic, the hot favourites, but Hibs have had a sensational season, and they may have something to offer yet. Both teams wearing their away kits. Celtic had to change. Martin O'Neill insisted that Hibs also changed. Celtic haven't won the Scottish Cup since 1995. Their only triumph in the last 11 years. But that's nothing compared to Hibs. Last time they lifted the trophy, the bow of war had just ended, the teddy bear had been invented, Henry Ford was busy founding the Ford Motor Company, and Buffalo Bill's travelling circus arrived in Edinburgh. The year was 1902. Is the long wait nearly over, or will Celtic ensure that it goes on? Celtic, league champions, League Cup winners, can they complete a tremendous treble? One way or another, history is in the making at Hampden Park today for either Celtic or Hibernian.
I think Hibs have to get the first win if they're going to win this match. There aren't too many sides in the country who can give Celtic a goal of a start. And I think if they're to win it, they're going to have to strike first. It'll be interesting to see which of the sides settles the quickest here this afternoon, because I think it's fair to say that either team has taken their foot off the gas in recent weeks, perhaps understandably, but there might be a bit of apprehension for either manager as to just how quickly the sides will settle.
Here's Valharen. Has had an outstanding season, but probably had his worst game of the campaign here at Hampden for Belgium against the Scots. They last met in the final in 1972, and Celtic's 6-1 win remains the joint biggest score in Scottish Cup final history. Renton also beat Cambuslang 6-1 in 1888, as I'm sure you all knew. This is Paul Lambert, who should be, as he usually is, a major influence for Celtic. Sutton grappling and getting the free kick.
Well, it's needless saying at a very early stage of the game there, Ulrich Larsson, illegal use of the arms here. You know, his goal side, it's a cheap free kick to give away, particularly with the likes of Larsson and Moravcik around.
Well, Larsson has moved away, which means this is one for Lubomir Moravcik, although Alan Thompson is also loitering. Kenny Clark making sure the wall is back. It is Moravcik, diverted off the wall and away for an early Celtic corner.
Yeah, just trying to do what David Beckham did against Mexico last night. Ian gets a lot of movement on the ball and it just clips the top of one of the Hibs players on the wall. Ball did its job, but Celtic pressing early.
Moravcik, it's not a bad corner, and it was met by Ulrich Larsson, thankfully from a Hibs point of view. Celtic signalling their intentions early on, and that will be a throw for them, and not for Hibs. Hibs couldn't get the better of Celtic in the 4 league encounters this season. Larsson lurking, and Hibs are on the back foot right from the start of the 2001 Scottish Cup final. Didier Gat booed, former Hibs man, left them early season. It's come to Moravcik. And Sutton! Not a bad try at all, and Nick Corgan called upon with a fine save.
That's a very decent effort. He had time here to look up, set himself, good controlled shot, bit of dip on it. Nick Colgan, hardly convincing, but did the right thing getting it over the crossbar.
Colgan has had a fantastic season for Hibernian, and a real test for him there from Chris Sutton. Thompson's left foot delivers the corner. Hibs will be so relieved if they can get the ball away soon. It's only going to be temporary relief because Celtic going for it right from the off. Have a throw. Martin O'Neill enjoyed great cup success with Leicester in the League Cup, but he never got past the 5th round of the FA Cup as a manager. Didier Gat gets Celtic another corner as it bounces off the Great Dane Larsson.
Well, this is where Hibs have to concentrate in, because Celtic have so many aerial threats from set pieces, and they get such a good delivery into the box as well from Moravcik and Thompson on either side.
Alan Thompson fools everybody in the end. Moravcik turned it in there. Lambert, oops, that's unusual for him. Alex McLeish, 5 times a Scottish Cup winner as a player, and he saw off Celtic a couple of times in his Aberdeen days in the final. And he do the same as a manager. Strongly linked with West Ham, of course, McLeish. Is this going to be his last game in charge of Hibs? Moravcik. Thompson. Celtic in a menacing mood in the cup final. Hibs weathering the storm at the moment. Thompson got his cross in towards Sutton, away by Fenwick eventually. I think that might be a handball, was it, from Lambert? The referee's played a decent advantage, in fact, for Hibs. Here's Larsson. John O'Neill, who scored twice in the semi-final win over Livingston here. Libra. Hibs have broken into Celtic territory for a little bit anyway. They're back in their own now. Frank Sosi up towards his fellow countryman Libra. A foul by Johan Mjällby.
Yeah, once again it's the arms that are up there, climbing over Mark Libra.
Matthias Jack gives it to O'Neill. Brebner finding his captain Sosie. Gary Smith over the head of Libra and away by Ramon Vega. Gary Smith fell out of favour at Aberdeen last season, but he has been a most consistent performer for Hibs this season. Island's presence earning another throw off the big Belgian Valharen, who won the Dutch Cup last year with Roda. Can he add the Scottish Cup to his collection? Ian Murray, the feet were high from the youngster.
I think Alec will be encouraged though to see him getting into that kind of area of the pitch, though, Ian, and it's important that both Murray and Larsson are prepared to impose themselves down either side. You don't want to end up being backed up by Celtic's wide two for the most part of the game.
Celtic come into this cup final having lost their last 2 games, not that it mattered much. Larsson trying to make headway, and he is making headway. I think that might have come off him though, it's a goal kick.
I just see the change of pace of Henrik Larsson the other way, and he's not the quickest, but it's a delightful change of pace. And Gary Smith thinks he's well in contention here. Just that little change of pace there to get him half a yard, he almost got the cross in.
Henrik Larsson with 51 goals this season, including a Hampden hat-trick in the League Cup final. And of course, he also did the business here in the Scottish Cup semi against Dundee United. Free kick for Hibs in a promising position. It's going to be whipped in by Ulrich Larsson, but it's not going to clear the first hurdle, which was Lennon. Another free kick in Hibs' favour.
I'll give it against Chris Sutton there for backing in here.
I think they're going to be hauled back to take it again.
Yeah. Chris Sutton again, well, really raged on there. It wasn't a bad effort, but Kenny Clark had blown the whistle previously.
So Hibs can try again from that free kick. O'Neill's centre. Here's Didier Agathe, and the Hibs fans are down that end and in a pretty unforgiving mood. He scored 4 goals in Hibs' first 6 games of the season, but he was only on a short-term contract at Easter Road, hence Celtic paid just 50,000 for him. Bit of a bargain. Here's Libra. He's done well, Mark Libra. Very well, in fact. Turned away by Valharen. And that was a real scare for Celtic.
That's one of the reasons I picked him out before the game. He might just be the key man for Hibs this afternoon.
Well, Gretna can't quite get there, but Mark Libra certainly opened things up.
There's a real confidence, a real cheek about this lad. And this stage might just suit him perfectly this afternoon. It was a terrific run down the outside to get himself to the byline. Ramon Vega backs off, drop of the shoulder, he's in behind Mjallby, and that is a terrific ball in. Fortunately for Celtic, Jos Valharen a tucked round the back to make the clearance.
Didier Agathe struggling a little bit. And he might need a touch of treatment from Brian Scott. 10 minutes played, no goals on cup final day at Hampden, and Agathe is getting treatment off the field at the moment. Patalainen in what could be his last game for Hibs, had a contract. Larsson to Libra, lovely touch from him again, and Mark Libra is in behind Celtic once more, and once more Valharen is there, but it's given away straight back to Libra. Patalainen, and Ramon Vega blocks it. Larsson trying to get in, it's going to be a corner. It was all a little nervous for Celtic then.
Yeah, once again it's Libra. You know, sometimes in cup finals, Ian, some players tighten up and others it's right up their street, and Libra already has proved this is his stage, this is his day, and if you're Alan McLeish, you want to get him on the ball as often as possible.
Libra, in his farewell appearance for Hibs, has only been on loan from Toulouse, and Hibs can't really afford £1 million asking price. O'Neill's corner, Douglas got a hand to it, and it proved to be a vital hand. There's a Hibs body down in the box. It's Fenwick, I think. And he will need some treatment.
Yeah, I thought Robert Douglas did well, Lorraine. It's a good ball thrown in, loads of pace on it, a lot of bodies in front of Rob Douglas, and it's a very strong left hand onto the ball. Has been criticised at times for misjudging the odd cross ball, but that was a crucial left glove to get onto that one.
Paul Fenwick, the Canadian international, who first played for Birmingham when he came to these shores, drifted around Scotland a little bit at Morton and Wraith before Alex McLeish signed him last summer. He wasn't really going to be first choice, I don't think, but he made himself first choice ahead of Martin McIntosh. Fenwick is back on the field, likewise a gap long since. Mjällby looking for his fellow countryman Henrik Larsson, but it's away by another Scandinavian in Ulrik Larsson. Paul Lambert won the cup as a 17-year-old with St Mirren back in 1987. And he played under Alex McLeish at Motherwell before heading off to Dortmund. Smith with the ever lively Libra. Fenwick's header, but Lambert finds Mjällby. Up towards Sutton. Won though by Sozi. O'Haran. Lennon gets it back from Larsson. Just managed to elude Kenny Clark, and now Moravcik is going to ping it out to Didier Agat. Bit tricky though for him. And Larsson, the Ulrich variety that is, moved in. Mjällby not hanging around. That's going to be a free kick. The challenge. Oh no, no free kick given actually.
I may have allowed an advantage there, Kenny Clark. Paul Fenwick in tight against Henrik Larsson, played the ball.
Larsson with 7 goals en route to this year's final. Celtic Scottish Cup winners a record 30 times. Patelainen back to Libra. Mark Libra is looking most likely for Hibs. Maybe not that time, but he'll be back for more. Here's Lubomir Moravcik though, as Celtic take great strides into the Hibs half. Moravcik's cross is cut out by Gary Smith, but it's going to be a corner kick to Celtic.
Another delightful exchange there by Mark Libra with Mixu Patelainen. Johan Mjällby caught ball watching there. Libra almost on his way. And once again, it's Valharan who gets the cross behind.
Well, Lubomir Moravcik is... Oh, he's not going to be able to continue. Well, he was a doubt in the build-up to the game. He needed 12 stitches in a leg wound after a training ground clash with Dimitri Karin last week, just ahead of the Kilmarnock game. And sadly for the Celtic fans and for neutrals, because he's a real talent, Moravcik is going to have to go off after a quarter of an hour of the cup final.
I think that's a chance Celtic had to take, Louis.
In comes the corner to Valharan. No flag against Didier Agat. Hibs looked in vain. Flicked away by Fenwick. It comes to Alan Thompson, who floats it back in. Mjällby trying to get in there, but Patelainen's presence proved vital for Hibs.
Did ever so well, Mixu Patelainen. A player who's every bit as valuable to Hibs in his own penalty area as in the opposition's. And he's under real pressure here. Thompson hangs it up for Mjällby to attack, and Patalainen did well.
Well, Lubomir Moravcic's cup final is over. Jackie McNamara will be on for him shortly, but it was a risk worth taking. I'm sure all the Celtic fans would agree. Thompson right in there, away by Corgan. Patalainen doing some defensive duties for Hibs. Here's Libra. And now Brebner. John O'Neill was the furthest man forward, but needed a better pass than that. So, no goals so far in the 2001 Tennent's Scottish Cup final. Mark Libra, who has come close, is the subject of our player camp for the next 15 minutes. Alan Thompson is, he's let it go for the corner, but he hasn't got the corner. In fact, it's a goal kick.
Yeah, he could have played it there. Could have played it. And he was convinced that he was worthy of the corner there. Only one man's opinion that matters, though. Kenny Clark gets the goal kick. Matthias Jack trying to get himself back to make the challenge. Well, I think Thompson's unlucky.
Lubomir Moravcic has departed us then, and on in his place comes Jackie McNamara, whose father, Jackie, played for both Celtic and Hibs, so he can't lose today, but it's an early introduction to the game for McNamara, who has a bit of a habit of scoring against Hibs. 8 goals for Celtic, and half of them have come against the hibs.
I think he enjoys playing one inside as well. He had played right wing back for Celtic, but he was starting to struggle a bit. And with Lennon and Lambert beside him, shouldn't allow him the licence to get forward.
Well, the gash in Lubomir Moravcic's knee has opened up again by all accounts, and he'll need fresh stitches. It was always going to be a bit of a gamble for Martin O'Neill. But when you bear in mind Moravcic's considerable talents, it was a gamble that most in his situation would have taken. Ramon Vega towering above all. And a free kick for Hibs, who are in the Scottish Cup final for the first time since 1979. Sosie, away by Thompson, back by Smith. Ian Murray now. Taking on Thompson, just 20 years of age. Oh, but he shows what he's all about, Ian Murray. Wonderful.
Well, they had no right to get out of that situation, Ian, because Celtic had 2 in attendance. They're both goal side in the corner. Neil Lennon come back to help out Alan Thompson. Delightful little spin in the corner.
O'Neill and Brebner combine for a short corner. Sosie lobs it in there, and Ulrich Larsson came in round the back. Nearly got in. Libra's overhead kick. Oh, and it's O'Neill who belted it towards goal.
Well, they've already shown they can trouble Celtic, I should say. Ball hung up at the back post. I think if Larsson goes and attacks that, he might have got the result. A half-hearted effort. Spectacular bicycle kick. And Hibs had enough bodies forward here. Look at the white shirts forward in that area. And even this early in the game, I'd imagine Alan McLeish will be pretty encouraged by the questions his lads are asking of this Celtic rearguard.
McLeish really has done a fantastic job when you consider that he's had hardly any money to spend. Most of the signings have been on Bosmans. He certainly has been very, very shrewd with his acquisitions. And of course the Premiership has noted as much, with West Ham strongly linked to make a move for him this week. Corgan's kick towards Patalainen, who was impeding Mjällby. To Patalainen, twice a losing finalist. with Dundee United in '88 and Aberdeen in '93. He'll be hoping it's third time lucky. Chris Sutton left out of the Chelsea side for last year's FA Cup final against Aston Villa. He's got a free kick, which Celtic will certainly fancy. Problem for Smith.
Yeah, I think the free kick is given against Paul Fennick, who Chris Sutton managed to get away from there, Ian. Gary Smith subsequently took a sore one, I think, from the sole of the boot of Chris Sutton. Again, it's in a good position for Celtic to get a shot on target here. Alan Thompson, as the left-sided player, may fancy it.
What an opportunity for Celtic. It is going to be Alan Thompson, but it's a miserable effort thread against the wall. Didier Agat. He's quickly got two men on him. Henrik Larsson trying to take it up on Celtic's behalf. Neil Lennon will take the throw. He's going to get rid of his blonde hair soon, by all accounts. Have to keep you up to date with footballers' hairstyles these days. Martin O'Neill plays ball boy. Has keyed up and has hyped up for this one, as he is for every other game. Agat. Foul by Paul Fennick on Henrik Larsson.
Committed himself needlessly there, Paul Fennick. Well positioned as the ball's played into Larsson's feet, tries to get round the side of him.
Well, this could be ominous for Hibs. It's going to be the left foot of Thompson again. Thompson delivers, but in the end it didn't really pose any problems whatsoever. That one won't actually drift away from Didier Agat. Looked like it might, it didn't. And Celtic get an unlikely corner off O'Neill.
John O'Neill did well to get himself back there, Ian. His over at Larsson was tucked inside, and O'Neill's block was an important one.
Past the midway point of the first half. Alan Thompson's corner. Colgan really feeling the heat, and it's cleared again. And not only is it cleared, there's going to be a break on. Although that break is abruptly brought to an end by Lennon, who was back covering, and by a rather poor pass initially. Celtic crowned champions of Scotland for the 37th time. It was their 80th major honour overall. Is number 81 on the way. Ramon Vega. Sutton fending off Fennick. Here's Paul Lambert. Now Neil Lennon. Here's Valharen. Larsson back to Valharen. Nice Jack got in Sutton's way.
Yep.
Bredner, not much space for him though. Closed down, hassled, harried. You can see what's at stake out there. Smith. Fennick. Frank Sosie, who played in 4 French Cup finals for 4 different teams. 1-2, lost 2. Ristolainen doing battle with Ramon Vega. Free kick has been given in favour of the Finn.
And look how well Celtic pressed the ball there, Louis. The pressure that Mixu Patalainen is under. He's been backed up by Vega. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 round him, pressing the ball. And that's why Celtic win so much possession.
Here's Fennick. Blocked though by Mialbi. Didier Agat. That will be a free kick to the former Hibs man.
Well, Celtic shading it in terms of the action areas, Ian, but Hibs have had more cutting edge. And it's Mark Libra, the one player who's managed to get in behind this afternoon.
No goals so far, and these two teams do have the best defensive records in the Scottish Premier League this season. Hibs' season did peter out a little bit towards the end, perhaps predictably, when they started losing a few players to injury, and when they knew they'd have to be focused on this considerable task. Didier Agat races away for Celtic, but it's turned away by Fennick. Only, though, to Paul Lambert. And Lambert gets it back from Sutton, but the offside flag will go up.
I'll make a better look at this. Gary Smith on the far post is the deepest Hibs defender as the ball is played through to Lambert here. Very, very tight. Flag, to be fair, was up very early. Good support play by Paul Lambert, though.
Lambert, a European Cup winner in his time with Borussia Dortmund. That was nice from Libra, and he's got it back, and no free kick as Ramon Vega took it away from Libra. Catalina, Brebner and Libra all involved, though, in some intricate football.
I thought Grant Brebner could have driven into the space himself here. A terrific first-time layoff again, though. He's taken, well, not a great deal in that, but Libra undoubtedly Hibs' best hope in this match.
Patalainen rising, but Ramon Vega wins that one. O'Neill's header. Lennon clobbered by Patalainen, and none too impressed with the challenge.
Well, he'll go up for them all day, Mixu Patalainen. He won't care how many times he's penalised. If he gets the crucial knockdown, he'll be well pleased. He'll have done his day's work.
The last 3 goalkeepers to win the Cup for Celtic weren't Scots. Peter Latchford, Packie Bonner and Alan McKnight. Robert Douglas hoping to change that. 13 different nationalities, in fact, represented in the starting 22 today. Long gone are the days when the majority of the starting 22 would have been Scottish. Sutton and Larson not quite seeking each other out. O'Haran. That was potentially a nasty one as Lennon and Brebner went for it. Both fully committed, though. Nothing too nasty about it. Here's Didier Agat. Sent off when he went back to Easter Road earlier in the month. And Celtic won 5-2 in another bizarre game. A result that doesn't really count for much here. O'Haran. Sutton tried a fancy flip, didn't come off at all. Lambert wins it back for Celtic. Lennon. Thompson hugging the touchline. Larson making himself available too. And that will be a free kick. Ramon Vega going over the top of Libra.
I think he's saying to Kenny Clark that Libra didn't jump, but he's well over the top of him here, Ramon Vega. Libra didn't get the chance to get off the ground there.
Well, they took the free kick quickly then, which was a complete waste of time because they're being hauled back. Libra just being warned by Kenny Clark. Alan Thompson is on our player cam now for Sky Digital viewers, channel 404. You can see him in close-up. Left out of Aston Villa's Cup final side last year. Ulrich Larsson looking to nip in. Lennon stayed calm. So did Douglas. Sozi's header. This is Matthias Jack, the German who came as a defender but has performed an admirable midfield role this season, and Neil Lennon's foul on him gives Hibs a free kick. They keep trying to take these free kicks quickly and never get away with it.
He does a terrific job for Hibs, Matthias Jack. Prepared more often now to get himself forward. Big heart, this lad. And he'll need it in against the likes of Neil Lennon and Paul Lambert in that central area. But once again, it's a chance here for Hibs to get a decent delivery into the box, to put a bit of pressure on Rob Douglas. Celtic are going to have to defend this from the penalty spot goal side.
Well, they have the likes of Libra and Patelainen and Fennick and Larsson to aim for. Oh, Robert Douglas nearly got put off by his own man. Mjällby, I think it was then.
Well, I think he thought he was taking it cleanly, but he's foxed here by the presence of Johan Mjällby right in front of him. Mjällby goes to attack it, ducks out at the last moment there, and Rob Douglas was almost foxed.
Henrik Larsson breaks away for Celtic. Larsson bears down on goal, but it's into the side netting from the 51-goal man.
Yeah, I don't think eventually the angle does him any favours here, Ian, but does ever so well to anticipate the short pass back. It's Gary Smith who gets across, closing down the angle all the time.
Martin O'Neill with plenty to say, as always. Linked with the Manchester United job, of course, but I can't honestly see him not seeing out his contract at Celtic, which has 2 more years to run. He loves everything about them. Foul by Valharan has given Hibs another opportunity here. Oh, they made a right mess of that, O'Neill and Sozi. Alex McLeish would have gone mad. Lennon trying to barge in. Jack. Away by Smith. Libra flicked that on. Patelainen trying to get in, but Ramon Vega did. It's a big football weekend on Sky Sports, and we have a women's international for you from Bolton tomorrow at 12 on Sky Sports 2. And the playoff weekend continues in Cardiff with the second division playoff. Reading against Walsall, that's from 2 on Sky Sports 2. Sozi has found Patelainen, the best of benches for him. And now here's Johan Mjällby, who's just agreed a new deal until 2004. Sutton was looking for a free kick, or rather McNamara was looking for a free kick then. McNamara losing out, and it's bounced off Didier Agat. Hibs will be in the UEFA Cup next season as a result of their league finish. European football at Easter Road for the first time in 8 years. But will he be around for those European games? Well, many people expected and predicted a comfortable win for Celtic today, but Hibs didn't finish third by a fluke, you know. They've played some great stuff this season. John O'Neill just lost his way a little bit. Alan Thompson finding his way, but the cross will be comfortable for Colgan, whose fine form throughout the campaign earns an Irish international call-up. Mjällby won that well. McNamara gives it to Paul Lambert. Lennon has won the League Cup in England and Scotland in the past 2 seasons. Thompson. Larsson. Sutton through to McNamara, onside. Henrik Larsson. And it ends up with Colgan, and that was a close call for Hibs.
Yeah, Jackie McNamara prepared to go beyond his front 2 here. Claims for offside, another tight one. Good reverse ball for Larsson.
Another free kick for Hibs. Vega on Patalainen.
Well, this is certainly in range for Frank Sosi. He hasn't really had a chance to get a shot on target, but he will most certainly fancy this one.
Well, he's ordered Libra across as well. That shows he has scored a couple of goals in this competition this season en route to the final, but he's not having a go this time, and maybe he should have done, because John O'Neill made a bit of a mess of it.
Don't really understand it, when you've got someone of Sosi's technique with his power, you really have to give him an opportunity to go and test Robert Douglas from that position. Celtic having slightly more of the ball, but possession alone doesn't win you matches, and I think Alec will feel his side are right in this.
There might be more in it now, except that Thompson has got back to sort things out for Celtic, and he's been tripped as well by Ian Murray.
And once again, he's prepared to get himself down the outside, Ian Murray. And Thompson with the matching run.
I mentioned that Celtic have lost their last 2 games to Dundee and Kilmarnock as the league season petered out. Incredibly, they haven't lost 3 games in a row for 7 years. Knocked on by Sutton, but an uncompromising clearance from Sosi. Lambert towards Agat. Larson wrapped his boot around Didier Agat. Here's Agat again. Once a Hibs hero, now a Celtic hero. He's on his way, and he slipped it through for McNamara! And Celtic are in front in the Scottish Cup final, and it's the super sub, Jackie McNamara.
First real contribution that Didier Agat has made, in terrific bit of footwork to get away from Larson originally. Needed the runner, and Jackie McNamara provided it. And he will be absolutely delighted. Did it in the semi-final. Look at his willingness to get forward. Could have taken it first time. One to nurse it. Might even have been through the legs there. I think it's Gary Smith who's getting across. But it all came from Agat. Delightful ball in front of Jackie McNamara. And well, Nick Corgan couldn't do much about it. Tucked inside his left-hand post. And the crucial breakthrough for Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill to John O'Neill as Hibs try to hit back. Well, I did tell you when Jackie McNamara came on that he has this incredible habit of scoring against Hibs. 5 of his 9 goals for Celtic now have come against them. And the League Cup winners and league champions are on their way, perhaps, to Scottish Cup glory as well. Lambert trying to put Sutton in, but Gary Smith has got this covered. Hogan's clearance goes to Brebner. Alan Thompson seeking out Henrik Larsson, found him too. Here's O'Neill. Can Hibs respond before half-time? 5 minutes of the first half left. And Nielby getting a bit entangled with Libra then. There weren't many appeals from the players, mind you, also from the fans. Thompson down the line for the goal scorer. McNamara. Patalainen will rise. It's actually come through to Libra, who almost trod on the ball, but he's still come away with it. And Valharen's foul is going to bring the first yellow card of the Scottish Cup final, is it?
Yeah.
Thought he was getting the card out.
Yeah, I think it will be. Kenny Clark tried to let the game flow, to be fair. Still no sign of the yellow being produced here. And at the second or third attempt, he took him.
So, Ross Valharen gets a card to match the colour of his shirt. Here's Paul Fennick. Sliced that one completely.
What a crucial contribution from the substitute, Ian. May have thought that he was going to have to sit this one out completely. Not long on the pitch, and it's his willing to go beyond his front players that gets him his reward here. Just slips it through the legs of Gary Smith, who was trying to make the block. And consequently, Nick Colgan was caught in his heels, back across him, tucked inside the post. And just exactly what Celtic needed, and the important thing for Hibs now is that they don't lose a second before half-time.
Kamara, a scorer in the semi-final win over Dundee United. A scorer in the final against Hibs. Martin O'Neill has the advantage as he seeks a tremendous treble. Thompson's free kick. Colgan thought about coming. Fennick will deal with it. Here's Paul Lambert. Hatalainen doing his best for Hibs. Here's Agat. Libra, wonderful footwork yet again from Mark Libra. Well, when Toulouse said he was worth £1 million, I don't think they were kidding, to be fair. Shame Hibs can't afford him. Knocked away by Agat. Larson stumbled, and Didier Agat, who set up McNamara, races away again, and he was looking this time for Larson. He's onside, but he couldn't quite bring it under control, and I haven't said that too many times this season about Henrik Larsson.
Well, he's the last player on the field, and you would expect technique to let him down. It's Paul Fennick who plays him on, and the first touch is the costly one. And what a difference that could have made to this match had he run on to finish.
Never thought he was up to much, eh?
Well, again, you can see Celtic more lively in front of goal. I think Alec probably at a stage in that he wants to get them in at half-time, just get them organised again. And try and get them back to doing the things they were early in the match when they were troubling Celtic.
Chris Sutton. 1 minute of added on time to go with the 1 minute of normal time that is left in this first half. Henrik Larsson, 2 men quickly on him. That's a good idea from the Hibs point of view. They've got a free kick. The men from Easter Road, Edinburgh, who've lost their last 7 Scottish Cup finals. Ulrich Larsson could be in here, though. It's not a bad delivery, in fact. Away by Valharen. Still not away properly, though. Valharen took a bit of a kick from Libra, which he certainly felt, but the referees let them get on with it. Thompson. Lambert. Thomas Jack, a very fierce competitor. One of the many Hibs heroes this season. It has been a splendid season for them. Is it going to end on a high or a low? Sutton was waiting for that to come to him. Gary Smith wasn't hanging around. We're in added on time at the end of the first half. Grant Brebner, former Manchester United starlet Brebner, gets it back and picks out Ulrich Larsson. Oh, it's just bounced away from the big Dane, who returned to Rangers last week after a few games out with a toe injury. Alex McLeish checking his watch. There won't be many seconds left of this first half in the Hampden sunshine. It is half-time in the 2001 Tennent Scottish Cup final. It's fitting perhaps that Jackie McNamara should have got the goal. His old man played for Celtic and for Hibs. McNamara came on for the injured Moravcik. The thoughts of Jim Leighton and Charlie Nicholas with Jim coming up. Half-time in Hampden. Celtic 1, Hibernian 0.
Money and get his players wound up and get back out for the second half, but he did it as a player and I'm sure he'll manage it as a manager.
Well, these guys are happy, and why not? Celtic, a win today, and they land this summer only on Sky Sports Extra. Now at Hampden, Hibs are a goal down to Celtic. Celtic's replacement, Jackie McNamara, got it. It's Celtic 1, Hibs 0, as things stand here in the Tennent Scottish Cup final. Charlie Nicholas and Jim Leighton are with me. Jim, is there any way Hibs can haul themselves back into this game?
Oh yeah, I mean Hibs have done well in the game, and you know they've got players there that can hurt. As Charlie was saying earlier, Libra's possibly the best man in the park so far, and if they can get enough of the ball to him, then they can still create problems, but they can't afford to lose another goal.
It's been an enthralling first half. I mean, I've really enjoyed the first 45 minutes. I just feel it's a little bit tough on Hibs to have lost that goal at that time, because it was just that one time that they let the midfield player go. But in saying that, you know, this game can go either way. Celtic have the better quality. There is no denying that. But if Celtic want to win this and seal it in the 90 minutes, they have to play a little bit better, and that will convince them and everybody else in this ground, certainly the Celtic end anyway, that they'll win it.
So Jim, what's the Hibs plan in the first 10-15 minutes of this second half?
Well, I think they've just got to stabilise a wee bit, because Celtic, after the goal, they had a wee bit of pressure. But, you know, whether they storm again, because Celtic always have a big start, both first half and second half. But they can't afford to lose another goal. That really is imperative.
I think that's right, isn't it, Charlie? Another goal for
Celtic might
Celtic,
be the main man
over.
to come on instead of Patalainen. We'll have to see what Alex thinks in the second half, how the game's going. Celtic in control at the moment, Jim.
Yeah, indeed. It's 1-0 Celtic. Let's rejoin Davy Provan and Ian Crocker.
Thank you, Jim. Well, the illustrious history of this famous competition has never really favoured Hibs. And in another way, the recent history of this competition doesn't favour them either, because the last team to come from behind to win the Scottish Cup was Celtic in 1988, 13 years ago. It will be Hibs to start the second half, seeking their first Scottish Cup for 99 years. But Celtic are just in control as they hope to complete a quite remarkable treble in Martin O'Neill's first season in charge. Hibs have offered us so much, though, throughout the campaign. They've got to come up with something invigorating for the final 45 minutes of the season. Here's Ulrich Larsson, looking to make an impact right at the start of the second half. Lennon didn't really get it away, and Valharen's clearance was a very good one, and a very vital one.
He's made a few of them, Ian.
Both sets of players stirred up by half-time team talks. John O'Neill is on the player cam for Sky Digital viewers on Channel 404, a losing finalist with Dundee United a decade ago in a remarkable 4-3 defeat to Motherwell. Is Libra. Valharen snapping away again, and Lennon finds Larsson. He's on his own, but that's never such a bad thing for Celtic.
I think the problem Hibs have now, Ian, that you know, this Celtic side under Martin O'Neill is perfectly capable now of sitting in and playing a bit more cautiously and picking Hibs off on the break. That's going to be the problem now.
Alan Thompson gets it back. Here's Lennon. Lambert. Paul Lambert conceding a free kick out of frustration more than anything else, because he was quickly hounded by O'Neill.
Well, John O'Neill does well here to put pressure on the ball, and the one thing the Hibs can't afford to do in the second half is stand off and admire Celtic. They have to get in about them.
Foul by Ian Murray there on Valharan, and he's going to get a yellow card. Second of the game. Joining Valharan in the book, in fact. So the 20-year-old, perhaps a surprise selection in the starting lineup, has to tread carefully now. Alan Thompson's free kick, aimed towards Sutton. Away by Ulrich Larsson. Who's going to be first to that? Valharan is the answer. Outstanding season for the Belgian international. And McNamara. Larsson! It just had to be him! Another goal! And Hampden for Henrik Larsson! And Celtic are ready to take their treble chance.
Typical Henrik Larsson finish, but Jackie McNamara involved in it as well. He runs off Grant Brebner on the edge of the box. Brebner can't get in touch with him. Just rolls it in front of Larsson. Doesn't matter whether it's the right or the left with this fella. And once again, you can hardly blame Nick Colgan. A wonderful finish. Just bent into the top corner, loads of pace on it. And the finishing of a very special player.
Martin O'Neill's Celtic are 2-0 up in the Scottish Cup final. Henrik Larsson has his 52nd goal of an extraordinary season. A hat-trick against Kilmarnock here at Hampden in the League Cup final. He began the demolition of Dundee United in the semi-final of this competition. Has he polished off Hibs? Maybe not yet, as Larsson delivers. The other Larsson, Ulrich. The gap trying to make sure that one goes behind. It doesn't quite, but here's Neil Lennon. An early Celtic goal in the second half would have been Alex McLeish's worst fear, and it's happened. And Hibs may be heading for cup final heartbreak again. But hang on, because here's Brebner. Now Sozi. Brebner, Hibs need a quick response. It's looped up off Patalainen. He'll try and get in there again. Here's Jack. Didier Gat. That's a Celtic throw. And Gat, who began the season with Hibs, ending it with Celtic, and ending it maybe on a very considerable high. Celtic with a 2-goal cushion in the 2001 Tennent's Scottish Cup final. And he was bound to get on the score sheet, wasn't he? And the quality of the goal really summed up the season for this tremendous talent, the Super Swede, Henrik Larsson.
I think his problem is that no one matched Jackie McNamara's run for the second time in the match, Ian. And once again, it's costly. It's Grant Brebner who let him run off him.
Matthias Jack is tripped. It's a long way back for Hibs now. Alex McLeish, not quite a beaten man yet. But he needs something soon out of this cup final. Patalainen hustling and bustling to little effect though, and here's Ramon Vega. Sozi's header. Lambert. Mjolby. Vega, what a solid back three that's been for Celtic. They all get a touch. Valharan too. Big men, big players. Larsson He's actually got the free kick. His 8th goal in the competition this season. Martin O'Neill won the English title with Nottingham Forest and the European Cup, of course, but never quite managed the FA Cup. Didn't get anywhere near it as a manager either. But the Scottish Cup is in touching distance. Lennon towards Sutton. McNamara trying to get on the end of that, but Brebner did snuff that one out. Larson, Ulrich, that is. O'Neill. Here's Grant Brebner. Now Frank Sosie. 8 years ago today he won the European Cup, but on this day the Scottish Cup is slipping away. Sosie so often an inspiration to Hibs, and he sure needs to be now.
You see Celtic have just dropped off now, Ian. Just saying to Hibs, you know, come try and break us down. We're more than capable of hitting you on the break. And even at this stage, I think Alec must be thinking of making a change. Charlie mentions Italy, he's the obvious one.
Brebner. Pasalainen. Pinnock. Hibs have got to ask some questions of Celtic and hope that they find the answers too.
Well, it's easier said than done, Ian, because Celtic, even the front two are dropping off now. It's 11 behind the ball, and there is very little space for Hibs to hit now.
Patalainen. John O'Neill. Grant Brebner. Here's Pinnock. Very poor cross though. Hibs need much, much better than that. Much completion, Andy Watson. Thing that it's not quite beyond them yet. Lubomir Moravcik, suited and booted, started the game, but the stitches split open in that gash knee, and he's had them repaired. But what a telling contribution he has made to Celtic's extraordinary season. And the man who came on for him, Jackie McNamara, made a telling contribution in this game, putting Celtic on their way. Lennon always looked favourite to win it. Larson. He's already got one hat-trick here this season, but he might have turned provider here for Alan Thompson. The angle became a little bit too difficult for him in the end. Goal kick.
Yeah, I don't think the first touch with the right foot did him any favours at all, and after that the angle is closing on him. Terrific run and well spotted. First touch really doesn't do him any favours. I think he might have had a corner out of that, to be fair. But that's the kind of counter-attack that Hibs now have to be beware of.
Ibra. Van Haren bossing him though, now Lennon. Thompson. Decent run by McNamara, but it was read by the other number 4. Sosie.
It's a great midfield to play in if you're Jackie McNamara or Lubo Moravcik, because Lennon and Lambert are so intelligent, so defensively aware that you really have licence to get yourself forward at every opportunity.
Alan Thompson. Brebner nips in, but all he can do is give Celtic a throw.
Well, the irony is that Hibs are having more of the ball in, but that'll be of little consolation to Alec McLeish down there.
O'Haren's throw. Larson lurking again. Didier a gap. Sutton's header. Ooh, it nearly got through to Larson. It was Sosie who stopped it. It's all going Celtic's way.
Yeah, I think Kenny Clark wants to work here with Matthias Jack. Just down to frustration. The game just starting to slip away from Hibs. They know that the clock already is starting to tick down, and he's been given a yellow card for that. And that's for mouthing. That's for dissent.
That's a pretty fearsome figure, doesn't he? He had too much to say for himself then. Matthias Jack, the big German, becomes the third player to be yellow carded. Ian Murray, his colleague, also booked, and Verhaeren of Celtic on a yellow too. Paul Lambert. Didier Agat. Agat might get it back, and again, perhaps not. Kamara's return not great, he's not going to carry though. Sozi. Ulrich Larsson. For once, Libera's touch let him down. Wonder whether Alex McLeish might be considering a change soon. Henrik Larsson, scorer of a glorious second for Celtic. How about that for a pass? Larsson picks out Didier Agat. Celtic looking for another. Larsson in there. Sutton in there too. And Larsson on the ground. Back on his feet. Brilliant save from Nick Colgan to foil Larsson that time.
That's a terrific save, Ian, because Gary Smith looks as if he's going to make the block here. Gary Smith gets tight as Henrik Larsson pulls the trigger here, and Nick Colgan would have seen that at the very last moment. Decent save.
Fingertips of Colgan keeping Celtic at bay for the time being, but they are baying for Hibs at the moment. Thompson whips it in. It's going to come to McNamara. He totally miskicked it, but he gets a second chance. And Sutton knocks it back in. And Hibs might consider themselves a little fortunate to get away with all that. I think that might be a free kick.
Hibs could do without that kind of challenging. And again, I think it's down to frustration as much as anything, but they really have to keep their heads here, show a bit of discipline, because Celtic will do plenty of this, just holding the ball up, keeping them in possession. And once again, Hibs have put themselves under pressure.
We are fast approaching the hour mark. Lennon's free kick. Lambert. And the flag wasn't up against Sutton. He was onside, but couldn't really deal with it. Well, the subject of our player cam for the next 15 minutes is some subject. Henrik Larsson in close-up on Sky Digital Channel 404. Will be quite close to him. Whether Hibs can stay that close to him remains to be seen. Grant Bredner's cup final is over. He's replaced by Freddie Arpignon, the Frenchman who arrived recently from Troyes, vastly experienced in his 30s. Hibs making a change. They, I'm sure, will call on Zitelli at some point as well in their efforts to find a way back into this cup final. Patelainen and Libra, though, giving it their best shot at the moment. What a chance for Libra! And what a block by Johan Mjällby. It's kept in by Smith. Hibs not finished yet. Patelainen's header off target.
I think he could have got the shot away here, Mark Libra. He's predominantly left-sided in here, and I think it takes a long time to measure it on his right. It's in a good position. Has to get the shot away. Delayed that split second. And as you rightly say, it's a terrific block there by Johan Mjällby, who tucks in behind. Played in by Patelainen. I think he could have taken it a bit earlier.
Never before in Scotland have 3 successive seasons gone by without someone other than Celtic or Rangers collecting silverware. But if Celtic triumph here, the old firm would have hogged the last 9 trophies on offer. And in 8.5 looking good, the Giants of Glasgow. Vega's free kick. Is that a handball by Sutton? Larsson trying to get in. It's not away yet. same wavelength. McNamara. Not quite what Henrik Larsson had in mind. Henrik Larsson will win the European Golden Shoe unless Andrei Shevchenko scores 3 goals in Milan's remaining 3 games. It's all done on a point system, it's all done on league goals as well. So there's a bit of a wait on to discover whether he'll win that famous award. Marpignon, Murray, tripped by Alan Thompson. O'Neill away towards Ulrik Larsson, hoping to have the same effect for Hibs that his namesake Henrik has had for Celtic. But the free kick is given against the Great Dane.
I think you'll find Celtic's wide 2 players now, Ian, will be less inclined to go forward. They don't really have to get themselves to the byline now. All they have to do is concentrate on making sure that neither Larsson nor Murray do the self-same thing for Hibs.
Hibs reached the semi-finals last season when they lost to Aberdeen here. A result that really rankled with Alex McLeish because it was a wonderful opportunity for them, with due respect to Aberdeen, to get to the final. They've made it this year, but it's not quite happening for them. Celtic last year, of course, were knocked out of the cup by Inverness, Caledonian Thistle. A bit different this time around. Celtic sitting pretty on a 2-0 lead in the cup final. Thompson always looked likely to beat Murray to that. Not too many options available for him, but one option is pretty useful. Henrik Larsson, now McNamara. Lambert. Thompson. Down the line for Lennon. And a foul by John O'Neill.
It's been a difficult afternoon for John O'Neill because he spent his time doing an awful lot of this, getting himself back, tracking midfield runs. Hasn't really managed to influence the game the way we would have wanted.
So another anxious moment for Nick Corgan here. Henrik Larsson pretty useful in the air, of course, as well. Alan Thompson's free kick clears everyone. Didier Agat. Quick turn of pace and he'll get a corner. He's unbelievably speedy, Didier Agat. But Hibs, of course, know all about him. He began the season with them. O'Haran will loiter with intent, as will Vega. Miyabi and Sutton and a few others too. Thompson whips it in, and it's bobbling in that 6-yard box, and somehow Corgan has got to grips with it.
That's the quality of the ball in from Alan Thompson here that put Hibs under pressure. Terrific ball in.
Agat.
It's a typical Alan Thompson corner, whipped in there to the 6-yard box. Corgan can hardly come for that, there's so many bodies in front of him.
Lennon to Sutton. Larsson. McNamara had once again strode into the box, but it didn't reach him that time. Ramon Vega. Thompson across to Larsson. Here's Arpignon, showed a bit too much of it though to Paul Lambert. captain's armband with Tom Boyd on the bench. Lambert.
I think previous to that, you just saw the very best of Paul Lambert and Neil Lennon. Two terrific challenges, and both of them still pressing the ball, still hustling.
And we wondered whether they could play together as well when Lennon first arrived at the club.
Well, I've got to put my hand up. I was one of them that doubted it, but a terrific combination.
A gap now. Hibs going to bring on David Citelli shortly, I believe. They need to find some firepower at the midway point of the second half. A quarter of the game to go. Alex McLeish and Andy Watson banking on David Citelli to come up trumps. And to be fair, when the Sky cameras are around, he usually does. Scored some spectacular goals this season. Larson across to Sosie. They could do with him banging one in from 35 yards, as he has done in the past. More patient with the build-up, though. But Johan Mjalby says, I'm sorry, you're not coming through this way. And he's got a free kick.
They'll be quite happy if the game continues to be stopped regularly now. Celtic quite happy to break up the fluency of the play. They won't be in a hurry to take any of these set pieces.
Citelli waiting to come on, but he is going to be allowed to come on now, I think. And this could be a farewell to Miksu Patalainen, who's been a wonderful servant to Hibs. He's had a contract, yet to agree a new one, linked with a move to America, in fact, with the Colorado Rapids, where John Spencer plays. Patalainen comes off, and on comes David Citelli. Can he haul Hibs back into this Scottish Cup final?
He's a different type of player, you know. I knew that Miksu Patalainen was going to have to work for anything that he won upstairs today, and he's been up against the best back three in that department in the league, and really found it difficult all afternoon.
Chris Sutton was taken out. I keep saying what a difference a year makes for Celtic and for Chris Sutton, an outcast really, as Chelsea went to the cup final last year. He missed out, nearly missed out this year because of injury. It's his first appearance since the semi-final against Dundee United here. Thompson and Larsson, both having a look. It's Henrik Larsson, and it's rather poor effort. He's really got to work on his finishing, hasn't he?
Well, it would have suited Alan Thompson better to strike this as a left-sided player, Ian, but you know, you don't shove the governor off free kicks, not in the cup final.
I think the Celtic fans might just let him off that one. Citelli. Jack well forward. Citelli and Libra in the box. Matthias Jack had a little kick there. Out of frustration, and he's got to be careful because he's on a yellow card, remember.
Paul Lambert looks like he's struggling here. Once again, look at the defensive awareness of Lambert, prepared to get himself back goal side. He's caught there, just on his left ankle.
That was a real nasty one, in fact, for Lambert. Whilst he gets some treatment, if you don't mind, Paul, we'll tell you about some of the other football coming up on Sky Sports this weekend. There's a women's international which could be a bit tasty tomorrow. England against Scotland from the Reebok Stadium. That's from 12 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. And it's followed by the second division playoff final as the big weekend in Cardiff continues. It's Reading, it's Walsall, it's from 2 o'clock. Lambert has managed to get back to his feet. Celtic fans have had a few parties in the past couple of months. They might be about to have the mother of all parties. Only 21,000 allowed inside Hampden because of the 50-50 split of tickets. And of course the Scottish FA take a few as well. But rest assured, Celtic fans will be watching this all around the world. The treble is beckoning, unless Hibs can find a way back, but it's going to have to be a remarkable comeback. Hibs may not get any reward in terms of silverware for their splendid season, but they are in the UEFA Cup already, of course. The question's going to be after this, can they hang on to their manager? Alex McLeish strongly linked with West Ham, and wouldn't really be surprised if he did find his way to the Premiership, one way or another. Arpignon. Lambert put a tackle in then, so no ill effects from that earlier challenge on him by Jack O'Neill. Cat goes with him, but he's managed to deliver. Oh, that's very awkward for Douglas as well. He didn't look convincing at all, then he was bailed out by McNamara.
That's a great ball in from the left-hand side here. Looked to have no room at all to deliver here. The ball's in the air a long time. Robert Douglas trying to move his feet, but never got there.
Now Zitelli can take a corner. There's the proof, right into the 6-yard box, but straight out by Lambert, who's still struggling, you know. He's hobbling a little bit, Paul Lambert. Zitelli has whipped in some really vicious corners this season. And there's another one, and once again it's met by Paul Lambert. Even though he doesn't look entirely comfortable at the moment, he's doing some admirable defensive work for Celtic.
I don't think he'll want to come off, Ian. I think he'll want to be on this pitch at full time if Celtic do complete the treble. You wouldn't blame him.
There's a corner. I don't think Alan Thompson was in agreement with the linesman. So Zitelli will get the chance to do it all again. And if Paul Lambert gets on the end of this one, it will be a terrible feeling of deja vu. Zitelli then right into the thick of it again, but that time it was met by the Swiss giant Ramon Vega.
Let's just wait the numbers, Ian. The set piece there, when it was thrown in, Celtic had 10 players goal side of the penalty spot. Very little room now for Hibs to work in.
Valharan, Henrik Larsson, a little touch for Sutton. Larsson's going to nip in for that. Now Lennon gives it to Mjällby. Didier Gap, beware if he gets away. He can't quite. Lambert's challenge on Arpignon, it's going to be a free kick. Smith, less than a quarter of an hour to go at Hampden Park. There'll be a few tired legs out there now. Murray battling away, but fouling Valharan. It'll be a free kick for Celtic. The player cam Discovery Digital viewers on channel 404 switches its attention to Chris Sutton. Some people wonder whether he'd made the right move coming north of the border. Well, he's on the verge of a treble.
It might not be that difficult to follow him either, Ian, because he can't have much left in the tank. Hasn't played for 6 weeks. It's a warm day out there. He's put himself about as usual. He can't have an awful lot left.
Smith, Libra. Hibs not looking very likely in terms of trying to set up a fantastic finale. But you never know. Larsson. Arpignon will get the free kick, fouled by Neil Lennon. Murray. Been sold a little short. Alan Thompson showing great determination. McNamara, scorer of Celtic's first goal. Paul Lambert wearing the captain's armband with Tom Boyd on the bench. The ball's been kicked out so that Arpignon can get a bit of treatment. Tom Boyd had his testimonial recently against Manchester United. Over 57,000 turned up. And he is going to come on for the closing stages, and it's perhaps no great surprise that Paul Lambert is coming off, because he has been struggling since that challenge by Matthias Jack.
Well, it's another terrific game, Paul Lambert, beside Neil Lennon there. And he's taken a couple of heavy knocks over the last 5 minutes or so. Reluctant to come off in any cup final, Ian, but he's done his part.
Lambert, a cup winner as a 17-year-old with St Mirren. Lost out here a couple of years ago. He's given the captain's armband to the club captain, Tom Boyd, the only survivor from Celtic's 1995 cup-winning side, and he also captained Motherwell to glory in '91. Is it going to be a stroll in the sunshine for Boyd, or have Hibs got something left in their tank? Vega, big and strong and bursting away. Sutton takes over. Lennon. McNamara. A free kick. John O'Neill's challenge. Hibs frustrated now. It's slipping away from them. I think Arpignon still has a problem as well. Tolharen. Larsson, Sutton, can he give it back to Henrik Larsson? He can! Larsson goes down! Penalty to Celtic, and the chance to really wrap it up.
That's another great example of Larsson's movement. He continues his run forward. One thing in his mind, getting his body between Gary Smith and the ball, inviting the challenge there. And Kenny Clark was well positioned to get it. He's got a hold of Smith's jersey, I have to say.
Larsson himself will take the penalty. He got a hat-trick here against Kilmarnock in the League Cup final. Saw off Dundee United in the semi-finals of this competition. It's Henrik Larsson. Was there ever any doubt about it? Henrik is a Hampden hero again as Celtic close in on the treble.
Well, he changed his style again. He normally goes for power. And he just decided to tuck that away. Just opens his body. Plenty of power on the side foot effort though. And once again it's Henrik Larsson who'll be making the headlines tomorrow morning. And if you think he knocked that penalty away with his right foot, his first goal was with his left. He's magnificent in the air. Works his socks off for the team. Not a bad signing at 650 grand.
Apart from that, he needs to work on a few things. We're inside the last 10 minutes, and Celtic are coasting it now. Whilst all that was happening, Arpignon, who came on himself as a sub but got injured, has been replaced by Stuart Lovell. But it's surely all over for Hibernian. Can't really knock them, because not many teams have been able to keep up with Celtic this season. Neil Lennon is, well, kind of a right wing back there.
Yeah, Alan Thompson's now playing one inning from the left-hand side. Tom Boyd's going to play left wing back. And Thompson's taking a shift one in.
Gary Smith, by the way, was booked amidst that penalty incident. So Larsson is on another Hampden hat-trick, of course, and he has time to get there. tight as ever. John O'Neill beavering away. Celtic won't be too troubled, but Hibs are kicking the ball at the moment. The Celtic fans are singing merrily in the sunshine at Hampden Park. The National Stadium once again belongs to Celtic Football Club. It's Sosie though. O'Neill. Matthias Jack. Free kick will be given for a challenge on Jack. Freddie Arbignon has a hamstring injury, by the way.
Well, you can see by that start team that Celtic have created far more shooting opportunities. The disappointing thing for Hibs is that they haven't had an attempt on target in this second half. Rosatelli might just fancy this one.
It's definitely time to hit the target at least for Hibs. Sitelli can pack a punch. Tom Boyd broke from the wall. Sosie lifting it up towards Lovell. He hasn't got any support down there. Back it goes to Matthias Jack. Frank Sosie. The wait is going to go on for Hibernian, it seems. Offside flag is up against Libra. They've waited 99 years to win the Scottish Cup, Hibs. They're going to have to wait for a century. Although whether Alex McLeish will be back to have another crack at the Scottish Cup next season remains to be seen, with the Premiership clubs having quite a bit of interest in him. The Scottish Cup will be presented by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, by the way, Gordon Brown. Gary Smith's challenge. Now he's on a yellow card. I don't think Kenny Clark is going to produce another one, but he might have had a case for producing one for that challenge on Thompson.
Yeah, he's just caught in his left thigh there, Alan Thompson. And looks as if he's struggling a bit. He's not going to be in any hurry to get up anyway. It's a chance for the players to take on liquids here. Got well laid there by Gary Smith.
They're pretty even in terms of the second half action areas, but not very even in terms of sticking the ball away. Celtic are nearly there. Inside the final 5 minutes of an amazing season. Didier Agat! What a strike against his former club. Larson on the rebound. Can't quite close in for a hat-trick. Plenty of power from Agat, though, and that would have really rubbed it in for the Hibs fans if he'd scored against them.
It's a terrific effort there by Didier Agat. Cogan does well, again, bodies in front of him. Wouldn't have seen it until the last moment. And eventually it's Gary Smith that makes the block from Larson.
Well, I suppose the perfect end to the season for Celtic would be another Larson hat-trick. Still a few minutes left for Henrik to go looking for it. Celtic may bring Tommy Johnson on for the closing minutes, though. Alan Thompson is still feeling the effects of that challenge a couple of minutes ago, and he might have to come off. McNamara now. Celtic looking for a fourth, and they're going to get... Oh, they're not going to get a corner. It's a goal kick. McNamara started the scoring spree. The genial Geordie, Tommy Johnson, comes on. Always smiling, but then there's been quite a few smiles on the faces of all connected with Celtic this season. And it's been a sturdy effort from Alan Thompson today.
Yeah, I think he's done a good shift, and you know, we talk about the Celtic white players all the time, but it's the defensive shift they do that often goes unnoticed, and he's made all the defensive runs today, Alan Thompson. You can see that certainly was appreciated by his boss there.
Larson. Such is Celtic's pursuit of excellence, and Martin O'Neill's in particular, that they won't want to even give Hibs a goal in this cup final, and they appear to be in no mood to do that. Ominously for Hibs, their former player, Didier Agat, is on the ball. Catch him if you can. In the end, they have to concede a throw. When he began the season at Easter Road in Edinburgh, he only played a few games before switching to Celtic, and he's going to win the lot. Neil Lennon arrived in December from Leicester. He's been reunited with Martin O'Neill, and he has proved that he is a class act too. Celtic hanging on to the ball in the final minute. It's really now about whether they fancy another goal, and with this lot, he wouldn't be surprised if they did. Flag is actually going to be up. There'll be 2 minutes of added-on time. The Tennent's man of the match in the 2001 Scottish Cup final. Guess who? Henrik Larsson. Typical of the man, really. 53 goals now in a remarkable season. Let's hope Shevchenko doesn't manage to get his 3 goals, and that Larsson wins the European Golden Shoe for Scotland. Ian Murray on a bit of a break. Falharan with a bit of a nudge. It's a corner. The 90 minutes are up. Hibs looking for a consolation. It would be scant consolation, but Zitelli floats that one in, and Libra's header will drop wide, and they're not going to even get a consolation. But in a moment when the final whistle goes, all the attention will be on Celtic. A quick word on Hibs, David, because they've been fantastic this season.
Yeah, they've had a wonderful season, Ian, and I thought early in the game they looked as if they could give Celtic problems, principally through this man here, Mark Libra. But as the game wore on, they didn't really manage to get them on the ball in the areas where it really counts. Celtic started to get a grip of the midfield. The second goal was always going to be crucial. Fittingly, Larsson got it, and the best team has certainly won this match.
Both teams, of course, lit up their season with 6-2 wins over their fierce rivals. But the league issues have long since been settled. The last issue of the Scottish season is also settled. We're just waiting for the whistle. Weakness in Celtic's team this season. They've got a free kick. Every single player has given their all. It's all over. Celtic have won the Scottish Cup, but that's only a third of the story. It's a treble for Martin O'Neill in his first season in charge. A quite amazing achievement. A truly fantastic feat. O'Neill found the pull of Celtic irresistible. They were the team of his dreams. What's happened, though, has been beyond his wildest dreams. Celtic's team of 2001 have followed in the footsteps of legends by completing only the third treble in the club's history. It's a treble. The Lisbon Lions did it in 1967 and again in 1969. The 60s were certainly swinging for Celtic, but 32 years on, the man of the millennium is Martin O'Neill. How does he follow this? With Martin, you get the feeling you'll think of something. He's talking now to David Tanner.
Martin, congratulations on a very hot day. Just how good was that performance from your players?
I thought they were brilliant from start to finish. I thought they were absolutely excellent. They adapted to the conditions. It was quite warm for a football game, but it didn't really matter today. I knew that they were absolutely up for the game, and it wasn't going to be lack of trying that would beat us today.
Is it fair to say that adrenaline got a lot of your players through, some of the ones who perhaps were carrying knocks?
Yeah, it's been a long season. I mean, I thought Sutton, who hasn't done anything, hasn't played a competitive game, was absolutely essential for us. But to name any single one out there today would be unfair. I thought they were immense, every single one of them.
You've had about 6 weeks to prepare for this. Has it sunk in yet? You've won the treble.
No, it probably hasn't. I mean, the supporters were magnificent today. I know that there'll be people all around, a bit of beanbag or whatever the case may be. I'm delighted for the supporters. Obviously, I'm delighted for the players, without whose efforts we couldn't have done it.
Martin, well done. Thank you for your time.
Stephen, thank you.
Well, there is another side to the story, of course. Frank Sosie unable to inspire Hibs this time, and their wait for Scottish Cup glory goes on and on and on. 99 years they've waited. It's going to be a century of waiting. Hibs will have another crack next year. Whether Alex McLeish will, well, I'm sure all will be revealed over the next few days, with West Ham United waiting to pounce for his services. But sorry, Hibs, it's all about Celtic today, and it's all about one man in particular. King Henrik is with David Tanner.
Congratulations, Henrik. Surprise, surprise, you're the Tenants man of the match.
Thank you very much. I feel brilliant. I mean, this is the one I missed in Scotland. I was in final 2 years ago, and we lost against Rangers. So I was absolutely delighted that we could finish it off today. I think the team played very well today again. We got the 1-0 to Jackie, a great goal, great pass from Didier, and then second half we got the second one, gave us a little bit more breathing room, and then we got the penalty, and then it's finished.
You've scored 53 goals now. What about your first goal, the header? Is that one of your favourites?
The what?
Your first goal, was that one of your favourite goals this season?
This one, today? Oh yeah, I just latched on it with my left, and it was top corner, so it was really pleasing to see that one go in.
Just before we came to you for the interview, Martin O'Neill said something special to you. What was it?
No, he just said I'd done it okay today, and he was pleased.
He's a master of understatement as well, is he?
No, he's done a great job. I mean, the treble, and yeah, the treble is here now, so I can talk about it. It's no problem.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, there will be a slight delay because Celtic, like Hibs, had to wear their away kit today. They've gone off to change their shirts. They're going to go up for the cup with the hoops on. Hibs, though, will trudge wearily up the 16 steps first. It has been a sensational season for them too. A team who were relegated 3 years ago, and they have played their part in the Scottish season. Make no mistake about that. Sadly, though, it's just not meant to be as far as the Scottish Cup is concerned with Hibs. They've now lost their last 8 finals, and they haven't won the old competition since 1902. Sadly for Sosie, one of the game's gentlemen, and all the others, the wait goes on.
Yeah, I think you have to measure their overall progress in. You know, they've finished third in the championship, they've reached the cup final, as you say, just a matter of a few seasons after playing in the first division. They're getting a terrific stadium built through at Easter Road. They've made great progress, and the big fear now must be on the back of this game that Ali McLeish will indeed end up in the English Premiership.
The Hibs fans have stayed around to give their team rightful applause. Celtic have changed shirts. The hoops are on, the hoops are out, and it will soon be time to salute the team of the season in Scotland. And they have been the team of the season by a very, very, very long way. Celtic have won the Scottish Cup for the first time in 6 years. That's quite a long wait for a club of their size and stature. Final day of the season belongs to Martin O'Neill and to Celtic. No surprise, really. Most days throughout the season belonged to Martin O'Neill and Celtic. Kenny Clark and the officials pick up their medals. Lubomir Moravcik had to leave the field early when his gash leg opened up again, but really the introduction of Jackie McNamara in his place proved to be quite telling, because McNamara scored the first goal before Henrik Larsson took over. League Cup winners, league champions, Scottish Cup winners. Celtic, record breakers, history makers, treble takers. Celtic Scottish Cup winners for the 31st time, more than any other club. Martin O'Neill has steered them to the treble in his first season in charge. There's just been no stopping Celtic all season. I've said it before a few times, but what a difference a year makes. Last season was woeful. This famous club became a bit of a laughingstock in truth, but they're the ones who are laughing now. Martin O'Neill has put a smile back on the face of Celtic, and what an emotional moment for Alan Stubbs, who after the cup final 2 years ago had to take a drug test here. It took him ages, but the drug test discovered cancer problems, which thankfully he has now recovered from. Henrik Larsson, the main man for Celtic once again. Lubomir Moravcik, unable to play a part in most of the final, but what a part he's played all season. Hampden heroes all round. Celtic winners of the 2001 Tennent's Scottish Cup. You don't suppose they might milk the moment, do you? Treble winners. This has become a familiar sight this season. Celtic celebrating, Celtic with silverware. If the players are having the time of their lives, you can be sure that the fans are too. Cup, the oldest trophy in world football, and Celtic won't actually be taking that one away. They'll be given a replica so that the original can stay in the Scottish FA's museum here. To be fair, it is 127 years old. All through the season it looked like the balance of power was shifting in Scotland. Make no mistake, it has shifted. Celtic are in charge now. They are the rulers. They are the kings, the cup kings for sure, and champions too. Don't want to put a dampener on the celebrations, Davey, but how do they follow this?
Exactly, but I think they'll take a few weeks to enjoy this, and you don't have a lot of time because these Celtic players will be back in training on July the 2nd, so They've really got to try and drink in what they've achieved this season, and I think to appreciate the scale of what they've achieved, you have to think back to what Martin O'Neill inherited, and he stood on the steps of Celtic Park last June the 1st, promised the Celtic fans he would give it his best shot, do everything he could to bring success to the club. Well, has he delivered big time of work?
Just a bit. Celtic Football Club, though, very much a club of the people, and the people are having the time of their lives. Pretty sure that eventually we'll get a chorus of You'll Never Walk Alone. When we do, it will make your spine tingle. Tom Boyd, the club captain. Celtic fans pay homage to their heroes, who won the League Cup here 3-0 against Kilmarnock. They've won the Scottish Cup here 3-0 against Hibernian. And as lovely as their away kit is, it's good to see them in those famous hoops. The sun is shining at Hampden, but it's been shining on the Celtic fans and their players for most of the season. And stand by for one of the most stirring sounds and sights in football. Well, that just takes your breath away. Let's hear from super sub Jackie McNamara and Paul Lambert. They're both with David Tanner.
Jackie, I don't know whether to ask you a question or ask you for a song. What atmosphere?
It's fantastic. Can't hear you talk there. Great day for the club. Especially when a great season. It's the end of a good season for us.
When you started the day on the bench, did you ever think that you would have such a huge hand in winning the cup for Celtic?
No, I was just happy to be involved in the squad, and obviously Liverpool got injured and I got a chance to go on early doors. And I'm just glad to be involved and to get the first goal and be part of the team to win the treble.
You've been at Celtic for quite a while now. You've seen Rangers dominate for much of that time. How special does it feel to have the 10th Scottish Cup in your hand at the end of a treble-winning season?
I can see what it means to everybody, especially supporters, everybody connected with the club. A long time coming, winning treble. Hopefully we can build on this next year and emulate it this season and go to Europe, do well in the Champions League.
A word for your dad, Jackie Senior, who of course played for Hibernian in their last cup final. How will he be feeling tonight?
He'll be very proud, I think. Obviously a bit disappointed for Hibs, but I'm sure he'll be glad for me.
Jackie, well done today, thank you. Paul Lambert is with me as well. Paul, what a special afternoon that was for you. First of all, how's the injury?
No, my knee kept on giving away a wee bit, but it doesn't really matter. We've won the game, which is the most important thing.
How tough was it playing in these temperatures?
No, it's the same for both teams, but I think we deserve to win. And okay, the team's done very well and had a great season, but I think it's just their year.
It's been about 6 weeks since you had a game of real importance when you won the title. How difficult was it to get the momentum back upward today?
No, it's not difficult. They're a professional bunch of guys, and the manager keeps on your toes, so expectation of money. We're always going to go up for this game, and that's what happened today.
I'm not worried about Martin O'Neill because a year ago this would have been unimaginable. I'm worried about Martin O'Neill and what he's done with Celtic.
He's one of the main reasons why we've turned it around, really. Having John Robertson and Steve Wolford have also come in and been unbelievable for us, and they deserve enormous back credit for what they've given the club.
Paul Lambert, back in the Champions League, can Celtic do something with this squad?
No, we're not actually in it. We've got a very hard qualifying game. But first we'll enjoy this and then see what happens.
I'll let you enjoy it. Paul, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that Champions League qualifier will be on their minds too much tonight somehow, as Celtic celebrate a quite amazing treble. Truly outstanding achievement. Martin O'Neill becomes only the 7th manager to do the treble in Scotland. Let's hear from the club captain, the man who got his hands on the Scottish Cup. Tom Boyd is with David.
Tom, yet another trophy lift. Are you getting used to it now?
I don't think you can get used to this, can you? It's just special, and the noise and the batting fans. It's just something that you would hope would come around all the time, but it's special when it does come around, and that you see today what it means.
Sum up what the last couple of weeks have been like for you personally, Tom.
Oh, this is just phenomenal, you know. For myself, obviously, there's been a lot of hard times when we've started off my Celtic career here, but to come through it all and to have a treble winning side be part of it, it's quite exceptional, really, for myself. And I'll go out and enjoy it, don't worry.
You've seen a few in your days at Motherwell and your days at Celtic. You've seen a few Rangers teams win the treble.
You what?
You've seen a few other teams winning the treble. So how special is it to see Celtic and the green ribbons and all 3 trophies?
I don't worry about them. I'm obviously a bit concerned with Celtic. We've done it today. I suppose we could have maybe done it earlier, in previous years, but it's been a long time coming about. But I think we've fully deserved it this season.
When did you know? When did you think that Celtic were going to win the treble?
When Henry put the 3rd one in for the penalty. No, we had a great chance. Obviously, you can't think about that, and rightly so, you play it down like the manager says. But once you get out there and the confidence was going through the team right through to the end, and then once we got to the final, and obviously you think, well, fail state the obvious here. I think you'll get a great chance, but it's only once you went like 2-0 up, I thought, well, that's it,
Was there one thing in particular that Martin O'Neill has done just to turn things around here, would you say?
Apart from leaving me out. No, I think that, everybody has come in and played their part. The team has been quite exceptional. He's brought a lot out, bringing confidence and a belief back to players has been a big thing. But I think his enthusiasm and his desire, I think that's certainly sparked off in the team, and you can see that right away.
Tom, I'll let you go and enjoy it. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Well, Martin O'Neill gets linked seemingly every day with the Manchester United job, but I think people in England probably underestimate just how much Celtic Football Club means to him. He might well end up at Old Trafford one day, but not just yet, that's for sure.
No, but it certainly wouldn't have gone unnoticed, and he had to hit the ground running up here. Rangers had won the title, were the dominant side, had made 5 signings, and nobody in their right mind would have fancied Celtic for a treble, and the fact that they're standing there having done it is down to Martin O'Neill.
Well, let's have a word with the man who joined the Celtic cause in December from O'Neill's former club Leicester. Neil Lennon is with David now.
Neil, congratulations. Was that a victory for Celtic or a victory for Sunblock?
I had a factor 30 on the day. I mean, we had to take a time getting going. Jackie's goal really turned the game for us. I think up until then, Hibs played really well. Come out second half, all guns blazing really, and I think we dominated the second half really. Justified it on the day.
It's been a long season for Celtic. How tiring was it in that heat?
Yeah, it's hot today, but the rewards were great at the end, so we try not to think about those things. Pitch wasn't the best either, really, and we just kept it going. Henry came up with the goods again, but as I said, I think Jackie's goal was a turning point, and after that, we never really looked back.
You've obviously been with Martin O'Neill at Leicester. How much has he impressed you this season? Has he changed at all?
Nah, he was just the same man, before. His man management was brilliant at Leicester. He brought them success, and he's turned this club on its head in one season. Now, the hard bit's trying to do it again, but I mean, we're just going to reflect on what we've achieved so far, and come back in a few weeks and try and do it again.
You don't really have long to enjoy it, do you?
Nah, we've got about 4 weeks, but I'm going to make a best of it, mate. Don't worry about that.
Sure you will. Neil, well done. Thanks.
David, cheers.
Well, rest assured, Neil Lennon will make the most of it as well. I think we can safely say. Celtic fans aren't quite ready to go home just yet, and I think they're going to have quite some night in the city of Glasgow. Those fans who have suffered for so long, but they haven't suffered at all really this season. It has been a memorable season for Celtic FC.
Fantastic season, all the boys have played their part. Was there a little fight between the two of you as to who was going to go?
Tommy's a rightful captain. I'm only there when he doesn't play, but okay, it's everybody brilliant.
The bad news is he's in for another year at least.
It's brilliant for us, and like everybody else, the whole club has been unbelievable this year. Fantastic.
How's this turned out to happen? What's the secret? Well, because a lot of players have got their confidence back and they've got brought in quality players. And then you look at Henry Larsson again today, another couple, and just phenomenal. You know, the whole team has been quite exceptional this year, you know. And this is a fitting end to it. He's got a chance, the boy Larsson, hasn't he? I think he's no bad, yeah. I think he's just beat my scoring record in the one game. Enjoy it, gentlemen. Yes, thank you. Well done.
7th goal of the season today for Jackie McNamara. It fired Celtic in front. Here he is with Chick.
Jackie, you become a goal machine. I wouldn't say that. Obviously, it's nice to get a goal in the semi-final, a goal today, special occasion. I'm delighted just to be involved and come off the bench, especially a big occasion for us, for the club. It's easy, isn't it? You just come off the bench, you come on the park, and you just knock in the opening goal. Well, I had a chance before that, but maybe I come a bit too early. But I say I'm just pleased to be involved and a good feeling scoring a goal in the cup final. Did you feel easy after the first one? Do you think the second goal was what you needed to turn it? Yeah, the second goal. I mean, Hibs pushed a bit more, taking a bit more chances, and Henrik's goals kind of settles in a bit, and hopefully killed the game off. And obviously the penalty, that was, we knew it was all over. How has Martin O'Neill managed to turn all this around in one second? Just installing confidence into the players and bringing new players in to do a good job. The players he brought in have been gelled well, have got on well. And so we're building in confidence, and hopefully we'll build in that next season. I know you're going to have to go through an operation to get this removed from your arm tonight. Yes, you're not wrong. Enjoy yourself. Thanks a lot, Jim.
It's a wonderful father and son story. Jackie McNamara Sr. played in the last Scottish Cup final appearance for Hibs. That was back in 1979. And young Jackie scores a crucial goal in the cup final of 2001 for Celtic against Hibs. McNamara, there were those, of course, who Moravcik went off, thought that Celtic were going to be weakened. How wrong they were, because McNamara turned in a fine performance, even apart from the goal. It was he who broke the deadlock, and then it was over to Henrik Larsson. 2 more goals to add to his tally, 53 for the season. But there's, in many respects, the man of the season for Celtic. Martin O'Neill with yet another trophy. Celtic have them all. The treble is theirs. They've beaten Hibs in the Tennant Scottish Cup final by 3-0.
It's a day every Sunday United. But if you said to me that it would culminate in us winning the Scottish Cup, I would have taken it every single time. I'll take it next season again if it happens. We may never achieve it again in the next 10 or 12 years, and maybe longer, to be perfectly honest. But to be part of this is one way or the other. The big game, it seems a million miles away. It'll probably be upon us by the end of next week, I suppose. But the European, the Champions League game, the qualifying match, I had a quick gulp of water when I saw the teams that we could be drawn against. And but even so, it'll be learning for the side. It's important that there, and
he's done more than anybody in the last 25 years.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Can't believe it.
Team have won the treble, that's very special.
Just fantastic.
Hail, hail, the Celt!
Give the performance on the pitch today.
I thought they played really quite well. I was very impressed.
Were you worried at any
No,
time?
never at all. Never at all. I knew we would win.
Not surprisingly, it was a subdued Hibs support that left Hampden Park.
I'm gutted.
I've been waiting 99 years for this.
You're going to have to wait a wee bit longer now.
But we're going for the century.
I thought they played well in the first half, but at the end of the day, best team won. But all credit to Hibs, they got to the final at the end of the day. And I'm happy for that, happy for the team. It's been a good season all round.
We're going to Europe this season, we consolidate, we go into Europe, and we'll be a force.
So you're not too downhearted, are you?
We're coming back. You'll always be wary of the Hibs, because we are coming back. Make no bones about that.
We've got to celebrate, we've got to party. Party big time and all. Party big time. I don't know who I'm talking to, we're partying.
And it all began by welcoming their team back to Celtic Park. A couple of thousand turned out to show their appreciation. A special cheer for goal-scoring hero Henrik Larsson. And also for the man who masterminded the success this season, Martin O'Neill. Neil Lennon promised to shave his head if his side won the treble, and he did. The Northern Ireland international clearly enjoying every moment of his club's success. The celebrations have only just begun in an amazing first season for Martin O'Neill.
And no doubt the parties are still continuing in Glasgow and hopefully in Edinburgh as well, because despite...
The very careless Hibs in midfield, they could be punished for it. Looks as if they might be. And that's in, yes! The third goal. He hasn't been in the game all that much, but he doesn't need to be when he can accelerate like that, get away from defenders. And that all stems from really shocking slack play by Hibs in midfield. Colgan did get his hand to it, but in respect to these breaks, it hasn't been Hibs' day. 51 goals now for this man, and counting. Egal. They'll get the corner kick for that Celtic, despairing tackle. Attempting one, that's in again. Alan Stubbs marks a remarkable comeback to football with a goal which delights that support. And I'm sure anybody appreciating the personal endeavour of a man rising above adversity would congratulate him as well.